Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Untitled Wrestling Podcast. It is a very special episode this week, or today even. It's Saturday. I can't remember what day it is. I'm still in that Christmas mode where it's just like I only have like days where I eat food and days where I eat different food. Like I know I'm going off my tea tonight, so it feels special. Yeah, it's our end of the year extravaganza. So not only are we giving you the results of our very exciting and possibly controversial end of the year polls, we're also going to give you our top 10 match of the year. We've got everybody here. I've got Jay, I've got Ryan, I've got Aaron, I've got Troy. The gang's all here. This last time there was this many white guys, with you Troy obviously, in one place. They were storming a Capitol building. So yeah.
Oh,
don't worry about it.
Is that not pretty much to the day?
Yeah, that was yesterday. Yeah, 2 years. So I'll throw to you, Troy, first. You're going to run us through the possibly surprising results of our end of year awards poll, and we'll go out the awards, and then we'll get straight into match of the year.
Fucking hell, yeah. So there were 9 categories this year, and there were how many votes? We had 59 responses in total. So
wow.
Monstrous response. At least half of those were Aaron or the bots that he paid. So without further ado, we'll get into it. The Indie Wrestler of the Year category up for nomination were Leon Slater, Blake Christian, Jordan Oliver, Tate Mayfairs, Tony Deppen, Cole Radrick, Dan Maloney, Dean Allmark, RPD, Effie, Spike Trevay, Matt Cardona, and Santana Jackson. I can announce that in third place with 13.8% of the votes was Santana Jackson. In second...
I'm gonna let you, I don't know who that is.
Yeah,
Michael Jackson, like just Michael Jackson impersonator that wrestles.
I thought the picture on the thing was just Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Fucking hell, these Twitter bots are on fire.
Isn't he the guy that does the he
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. Yeah. Oh god.
In second place is your Sovereign Lord, Spike Trevay, with 15.5%. And in first, with an overwhelming 36.2% of the votes, is the Deathmatch King, Matt Cardona.
Oh,
I mean, that's justified.
I mean, he is the only wrestler who told all of us to fuck off this year. So you know,
Yeah.
He's the king. Tony Deppen did as well.
he just like spat at Troy and tried to give him herpes.
Tony definitely tried to give me pink eye, but the less said about that, the better. Tony, if you're listening, I love you, mate. Next award is the Unsung Hero Award. So can someone explain the Unsung Hero Award for... I probably can't do it justice. What's the Unsung Hero Award?
Someone who puts the work in but doesn't maybe get all the recognition. Like they're not like challenging, they're not in the main event, they're not challenging for the top belts, but like if they weren't there, you'd probably like, oh, the show's a bit worse because they're not on it.
Okay, perfect summary. So we had a fair few in this category as well. We had Sheamus, Seth Rollins, Sami Zayn, Speedball Mike Bailey, Ricky Starks, Eddie Kingston, Trent Beretta, Jordan Oliver, Dolph Ziggler, and Mandy Rose. This was pretty close, actually. So in third place, with 15.3% of the votes, is Sheamus. In second place, with 16.9% of the votes, is Sami Zayn. And the winner by a fair amount, with 25.4% of the votes, is Dolph Ziggler. This is an absolute fix. I'm nay having it.
I think, to be fair, we've put it to Twitter.
It's not just Twitter. It's not just Twitter.
Bear in mind, this is all Twitter post Elon Musk takeover as well, so I don't think any have any credibility whatsoever.
I mean, to be fair, I know that I voted for Aaron's categories on at least one or two of the things.
Okay.
But I told them what I voted for, and it wasn't
Don't
that.
have a look at me. I voted, I think, twice to get both my people in, and that was it.
Twice? You're only allowed one vote, pal.
No, I voted like 3 times now. Like.
That's not what it says.
Wait there. It's all coming out in the
it's so
now.
Right, okay.
You can genuinely just hit back.
Whoa,
and then
no, I know you can, but the idea is you keep it fair and vote once. Yeah, you've got to come back. Shut the fuck up. Let's move on. Feud of the year. Feud of the year. So we've got CM Punk against MJF, The Elite versus Death Triangle, FTR versus the Briscoes, Christian versus Jungle Boy, Eddie Kingston versus Chris Jericho, Braun Strowman versus Flippy Flippers, CM Punk versus the AEW Locker Room, Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins, Kenny Omega versus Axel Steele, and Will Ospreay versus Kenny Omega. This is again another real close one. In third place, with 20.3% of the votes, is FTR and the Briscoes. In second place, with 22% of the votes, Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins. And with 27.1% of the votes, in first place is Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega.
Everyone loves that Twitter beef, don't they?
Nothing for Punk MJF. Punk really fucked his legacy that hard.
There were votes for other stuff, but obviously in comparison, they were
that's a shock to me. That I thought Punk could walk that.
Punk and MJF got 16.9%.
What did CM Punk versus Nick Jackson's face get?
1.7%. Eddie Kingston, Chris Jericho, 1.7. Kenny and Axel, 10.2. We move on to the prestigious. I mean, they're all prestigious, but match of the year,
which is legally distinct from the match of the year we're about to do.
Yeah. In here, this was again they're all pretty close, to be fair. FTR versus the Briscoes 3 from Final Battle. FTR versus the Briscoes 1 from Supercard of Honor. Anarchy in the Arena. Kung Fu Janela versus Joey Janela.
Dog Killer.
Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins from Hell in a Cell. Sheamus versus Gunther, Clash at the Castle. FTR versus Aussie Open from New Japan Royal Quest. Cara Noir versus Spike Trevay from Progress Super Strong Style. JWN, is that John Wayne Murdoch? Yeah. John Wayne Murdoch against Alex Colon 1 from GCW Die for This. And Sami Zayn versus Johnny Knoxville from WrestleMania. Christ alive. Right, that's first, that's second.
Come on, Ryan, we can do it.
Man, I lie. That's real close.
I'd like to clarify. I did vote for Kung Fu Janela versus Joey Janela.
Let's go.
Right, this bloody hell. So the general public have voted, and I will give an honourable mention here to fourth place because fourth place was a tie, both with 10.2% of the votes, and that was Sami Zayn versus Johnny Knoxville from Mania and FTR versus the Briscoes 3 from Final Battle. However,
completely different matches.
However, in joint third place with 11.9% of the votes is John Wayne Murdoch versus Alex Colon from GCW Die for This, and Cara Noir versus Spike Trevay from Super Strong Style. In second place with 16.9% of the votes is Kung Fu Janela versus Joey Janela, which means in first place with 20.3% of the votes is Sheamus versus Gunther from Clash at the Castle. Next, breakout star of the year. In this category, we've got Bron Breakker, Jordan Oliver, Wheeler Yuta, Konsuke Takeshita, Daniel Garcia, Solo Sikoa, Nick Wayne, and Grayson Waller.
Jesus Christ.
So, oh Christ, he's ran away with it here. In third place with 19.3% of the votes is Konsuke Takeshita. In second place with 21.1% of the votes is Solo Sikoa. And right out in front with 31.6% of the votes is Australia's biggest dickhead. It's Grayson Waller.
Fucking hell.
Sake.
That's just upsetting.
Is our audience on Twitter just like over 50s?
I think this could be like the NXT podcast audience.
I mean, we're doing something right on there.
We must be.
They've just seen like Aaron, like what they think Aaron's picks are, and going, that makes sense.
Not even watching NXT.
We
Yeah,
move on.
Everyone who voted on this has no idea who Grayson Waller is. They just picked him because Aaron talks about him a lot, I think.
We move on to best pay-per-view of the year. In this category, we've got WWE Clash at the Castle, Ring of Honor Supercard of Honor 15, AEW Forbidden Door, AEW Full Gear, Ring of Honor Final Battle, WWE SummerSlam, GCW Backyard Wrestling 4, AEW Revolution, Ring of Honor Death Before Dishonor, and New Japan Pro Wrestling Wrestle Kingdom 16. Oh, God almighty. What's that? Okay, so in joint third place with 11.9% of the votes is WWE Clash at the Castle and New Japan Pro Wrestling Wrestle Kingdom 16. In second place with 20.3% of the votes is AEW's Forbidden Door. Oh, my fucking life. And in first place with 25.4% is GCW Backyard Wrestling.
Let's go!
I mean, only one of those shows featured Vampiro.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
Jesus.
also the team of 4 drunk uncles.
Yeah.
You wouldn't get Tony Deppen walking out with a T-shirt that says butt stuff on it at Clash of the Castle, would you?
My favorite.
I'm just saying, no one on any of the shows came out to Headstrong by Trapped.
That's true. Also true.
Right, we move on. Best tag team. In this category, we had FTR, Sunshine Machine, the Briscoes, the Acclaimed, Swerve and Our Glory, excuse me, Greedy Souls, the Usos, Boosie, Hookhausen, and Jordan Oliver and Nick Wayne. So
I believe they're called Young, Dumb and Broke.
Is that what they are? There you go then. Young, Dumb and Broke.
Jordan Oliver shouted it about 900 times.
Yeah, I thought he had Tourette's or something.
No,
I don't know.
it's Jordan Oliver's old group.
Right.
Now they split up, and it's just Jordan Oliver that uses Young, Dumb and Broke, and that's it. They're not called Young, Dumb and Broke.
They were calling them something else on New Year's Day, weren't they?
Yeah, there was something else.
Like
Set
East
of
and West
Bastards.
something. Or...
I don't know. Anyway, in this we had that's mighty close. 17.9% of the votes in third place is Jordan Oliver and Nick Wayne. 23.2% of the votes is FTR, and with 25% taking the win is the Acclaimed.
Yes, everybody
I'll
loves
take that.
the Acclaimed.
That's fair.
Everybody loves the Acclaimed.
Hookhausen with 5.4, Boosie with 1.8, the Briscoes with 10.7, Sunshine Machine with 1.8. Best female wrestler, our penultimate category. Here we had Jamie Hayter, Willow Nightingale, Tony Storm, Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, Mandy Rose, and Jordan Grace. Are you okay, Aaron?
I thought you were going to say Jordan Oliver again. And I'm like, how the fuck has Jordan Oliver got into every category?
Right. So, in third place with 13.6% of the votes is Bianca Belair. In second place with 30.5% of the votes is Jamie Hayter. And with 39% of the votes, in first place, our best female wrestler of the year is Mandy Rose.
Right.
Oh my God.
That's confirmed. It's definitely NXT.
I'll be honest, I think that's well deserved.
Twitter bots, let's
Twitter
go.
has spoken.
If we're applying the PWI metrics, then she has had the longest title reign. So,
Yeah.
There you go. And finally, best male wrestler of the year. In this category, Roman Reigns, Bryan Danielson, John Moxley, Orange Cassidy, Chris Jericho, Seth Rollins, and Dolph Ziggler. So with hang on. Okay, that's wait there. Right, okay. So with 8.5% of the votes, in third place is Seth Rollins. In second place, with 20.3% of the votes, is John Moxley. And with 30.5% of the votes, in joint first place, is Roman Reigns and Dolph fucking Ziggler.
So I think what we can infer from that is the two that tie cancel each other out, and so we just give it to Moxley.
Yeah,
sure.
Because we can't give it to Dolph Ziggler, and I think on principle we can't give it to anyone who ties with Dolph Ziggler. So.
Yeah, you can't give unsung hero and wrestler of the year to the same person.
So I think officially we have to say congratulations to John Moxley, the Untitled Wrestling Podcast, Wrestling of the Year 2022.
Just put a star at the end of his name.
Asterisk. Isn't that the second year running that he's won that for us?
Right, so the awards will not be back next year. They're gone forever now. Just put them in the bin. It's trash. Shut it down.
So that was our awards. Thank you to everyone that voted. I think that's probably the most responses we've had. It's been fantastic. Thank you.
I mean, half of them were Aaron's Twitter bots from like 2 years ago, like remobilizing.
Just renewed the subscription.
Yes, £100 went perfectly well. Yeah.
The AI has gotten fucking scary.
Gone rampant. It's gone into business for itself.
Right, Tasty.
Right.
What are we doing?
Well, it's time for our Match of the Year list. So, if you remember our halfway through Match of the Year where Aaron had to eat cold KFC, we had a good time. So what we're going to do, we're going to do the same format. So we're all going to...
Still angry about it.
We're all going to run through our top 5. We're going to run through honorable mentions real quick. Literally just mention them. Don't talk about them. If you start talking about them, we'll just all talk over you and tell you to shut the fuck up. So we'll run through our honorable mentions. I've got 10, but I'm going to rattle them off like super fast. And then we'll get to our top 10. So we'll take it in turns. So we'll go... from where I'm on the screen, I'm in the middle, so I'll go me, Jay, Troy, Aaron, Ryan, and we'll go in a round. When someone lists a match, if you've got it in your top 10, just throw your hand up and say, I've got this higher in my list, and we'll park it and we'll talk about it when no one else, when it's the highest match on anyone's list, we'll talk about it basically.
Sounds good.
So we're not repeating ourselves, and everyone can, and we'll try and keep it brief, but like Aaron said, we're not going play by play here, we're just going to say why we liked it.
Yeah.
Cool.
If you start talking about specific spots, I'm going to tell you to shut the fuck up, and we'll go. Right, so I'll start first with my honorable mentions then. So I've got Bryan Danielson versus John Moxley from Revolution 2022. Hangman Page versus Bryan Danielson, Dynamite 5th of January. Cody Rhodes versus Sammy Guevara for the TNT title ladder match. I just had to put this in as a reminder that Cody Rhodes did this match this year because it seems...
I was going to say, was that this year?
That's mad.
It was like the first Dynamite of the year.
Beach break it was. Britt Baker versus Thunder Rosa in the cage match. St. Patrick's Day Slam. Elite versus Death Triangle Falls Count Anywhere. New Year's Smash. Bryan Danielson versus Claudio Castagnoli versus Chris Jericho versus Sammy Guevara at AEW Full Gear. Tony Storm v Britt Baker v Jamie Hayter v Hikaru Shida at All Out. The Acclaimed versus Swerve No Glory 1, the one they didn't win. Eddie Kingston versus Joe Nakayama from the Full Gear pre-show. And Action Andretti versus Chris Jericho from AEW Dynamite Winter is Coming.
Nice.
And I'm aware they're all AEW matches, but my actual list has more variety. Jay.
Okay, this is going to be controversial. FTR versus Aussie Open. Rina Yamashita versus Sawyer Wreck. Konosuke Takeshita versus Lee Moriarty. Progress Super Mob Smash 12. Sunshine Machine versus 0121 versus Smoking Aces in a ladder match at Super Strong Style. Chris Ridgway versus Charlie Dempsey at Super Strong Style. Karen Noir versus Spike Trevay in a Last Man Standing match at not Last Man Standing, I Quit match at Super Strong Style.
Everything you've said here, Troy's had a facial expression for.
Most of this was in my top 10 for that first half of the year. That's the thing. But like,
so much has happened in the second half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ricky Starks versus MJF from Winter is Coming. John Moxley versus Wheeler Yuta from Rampage. Danielson versus Hangman, and Jordan Oliver versus Tony Deppen from, I can't remember the name of the GCW show a couple of weeks ago.
Nice.
Okay, Troy.
Right. From the 2nd of December, episode of SmackDown, Ricochet against Santos Escobar. 19th of June, Will Ospreay against Nick Wayne, GCW, I Never Liked You. 19th of December, Shingo Takagi against Taichi from the JTO 50th anniversary show. Last Man Standing Lumberjack match. That's from the King of Pro Wrestling Championship, I think. 15th of October, El Hijo del Vikingo against Phoenix at AAA Mania. And the 21st of August, Ricky Knight Jr. against Will Ospreay from Rev Pro 10th anniversary.
Lovely. Aaron, your honorable mentions, mate?
I've only got one because most of mine are in the first half of the year. I didn't watch as much wrestling in the second half. So just Osprey versus Okada. It was in my top 10 the first half of the year, but it's not. There's probably others that I've missed from my first half of the year.
Was that the G1 final?
The G1 or from Wrestle Kingdom?
Both Wrestle Kingdom and the G1, but the one I had was Wrestle Kingdom. So.
Right,
fair.
Ryan?
Well, as you know, I don't actually have a list like at all. So I'll just give one honorable mention from the start of the year was...
what do you mean you don't have a list?
What are you doing here?
How are you not prepared?
I don't have a list. I'm just going off a thing. Anyway, I'll give one honorable mention. I'll go Minoru Suzuki versus Chris Dickinson at Bloodsport.
Nice.
Oh, aye. Suzuki and Effie is an honorable mention too. There you go.
Yeah, in which case...
that was in my top 10.
I'll put...
I'll
put Mox and fucking salad fingers from Bloodsport on there as well then.
That was a good match.
That was a good match.
I showed my mum that and she liked it. That's how good it was.
I think my top 10 from the first half of the year mainly consists of the collective from WrestleMania weekend.
It was a fucking cracking weekend, to be fair.
Yeah.
Right.
Right, we'll start off then. So Ryan, do you want us to not include you in the top 10? Are you just gonna chime in with them? You've got something to say?
I've got one match in my top 10.
So we'll just come to you for the final one. Ryan, feel free.
You not have a top 10?
I've got a couple in my head.
Feel free to jump in anytime. We'll go around the four of us, and if you want to chime in, just come in, basically.
Yeah.
Right. So I'll start with my number 10 match. It's a match I watched very recently. It's going to make a couple of you real happy. I've gone for Drunk Uncles versus Team Yo-Yo from Backyard Wrestling 4.
Yeah,
just any match that starts with Tony Deppen, Alex Colon, One Night Manders, and Brady Daddy coming out to Real American, and then Cole Radrick screaming "fuck Hulk Hogan" into the camera. you know it's off to a good start. I couldn't put it any higher because I actually missed the finish, so I went to get a drink, and there was I went to get a drink, and all 8 men were still in the match, and I came back and the match was over.
Yeah,
This is the best part as well.
The match went about what 20-25 minutes.
Yeah, and all
everyone was still in.
This was an 8-man Survivor Series match, and all 7 eliminations happened in the last 90 seconds.
Fucking hell!
But it was really good fun. Yeah, it was. I think Backyard Wrestling, the whole pay-per-view kind of towed the line quite well between the nonsense and good wrestling. And I think this match hit it. Like this match had the best balance of mad shit and actual good wrestling as well. So yeah I really enjoyed it. I love how I just talked with confidence about that because I knew no one else had it on the list.
That is why Backyard Wrestling is our show of the year, baby. Yep. Well, second show of the year.
Your show of the year.
Right, Jay, you're number 10, mate.
Jungle Boy versus Luchasaurus in a cage match from Full Gear.
Yeah, man. Take it away.
I thought Ryan would have put that. Has anyone got that?
Good match.
I thought Ryan would have had that because I remember you enjoying it when we were talking about it. This was kind of like just kind of go behind the scenes a bit. Luchasaurus's favorite match ever is Shawn Michaels versus Undertaker in Hell in a Cell. So this was kind of like a love letter to this. There was loads of spots that kind of like called back to that match. It was, but obviously like with a bit more of like a modern spin on it. It was just a really, really fun match, and it kind of lived up to the comparisons between the other match as well.
Yeah, I agree. It was in many ways a really restrained cage match, but at the same time, they when the big spots came out, they really landed. Pun intended.
Yeah,
Jungle Boy landed.
The camera work in it as well was fucking unreal. Like there was the bit where Jungle Boy's face got pushed into the cage and the blood was like pouring over the like chain link, and he had like the close up on it. It was like, oh, that was just masterfully shot. And that was an opening match on the card as well. It was, it was.
Yeah, good shout. Troy?
My number 10 is from the 2nd of April this year. Becky Lynch against Bianca Belair from WrestleMania 38. I think given everything that happened at SummerSlam the year before, where it was a squash in like within 20 seconds, and Belair being really hard done by there, I think this was a really good use of callbacks to that match, showing how much that Belair had kind of like learned to outsmart Becky Lynch at kind of every opportunity. A really good back and forth. just some really cool creative spots. Like I won't go. You've said not to go into spots too much, so I won't drag you down with that.
You can say spots, just don't do a play-by-play. That's all I ask.
There was a bit where Belair reversed a back body drop with a handstand near the ropes, and then she lands on her feet, lifts Becky Lynch up, and hits her into like a delayed vertical suplex. That bit was super smooth. It was really, really cool. Every time, like there was a bit where she went for the kiss of death, and I think Lynch like grabbed the ponytail and sort of countered it with that. And then even when Becky Lynch went for the manhandle slam as well, which is what lost Belair the title the year before, outsmarted again, a counter for that, and just to like really show like a good kind of development of like, you know, knowing what was coming up in that match, knowing what happened before, having an answer for every single move. Yeah, it was fantastic. I really, really enjoyed it.
I think it was also probably the best. Was it that night one of Mania?
Yeah, I think so.
I remember whatever night it was on. It was like the best, technically the best match on that night as well. Like in terms of in ring action, I think, because yeah, some of them.
Bianca did a lot of that match with one eye as well, because her eyes swollen shut like quite early on.
Aye, yeah.
Aye, literally.
Aye.
Right, Aaron.
Yeah, I just woman hit her with a potato.
You're number 10, mate.
You're going to hear this a lot, but we're going to GCW.
Oh, we are, pal.
Yeah, we're going to Planet Death. We're going to a match that I forgot to mention on the first half of the year. Totally forgot about it. Shane Mercer versus Neil Diamond Cutter in a Light Tubes Bundles death match.
Let's fucking go.
Let's fucking go, son.
Good match.
Yeah.
I fucking love this match.
Oh, it's a good death match, solid. You've got Shane Mercer in there and a man called Neil Diamond Cutter. There's one major spot
and a sing along to Sweet Caroline.
Yep. It's a very good death match, but there's one solid spot where there's a moonsault and battery, which is Shane Mercer's finisher, which is like a fall away slam, but a moonsault whilst he's doing it. Yeah. It's fucking ace. He does it off a ladder.
Onto a load of light tubes.
Onto a load of light tubes. Great fun.
Lovely stuff. Ryan, have you got anything, or are you going to hold on?
Okay, I'll just give you one. Let's see, what can I give? Let's go to AEW then, since I don't watch it very much. Where's Matt?
Watch someone just shout at him right now. I got it.
Here we go. Okay, Chris Jericho versus Bryan Danielson versus Claudio versus Sammy Guevara at Full Gear this year for the ROH World Championship. Really good match. Can't remember much of it, but I remember enjoying it.
I remember being a match I had like zero hype for, and I thought this is going to be a fucking disaster because Jericho, and then it was like amazing. It was like, what the fuck?
Incredible.
Yeah.
Really
just goes to show that when you put like some guys who are have really good chemistry in the ring together, then just let them go for it. They'll just figure it out, and it'll be fun.
There was no slow bits in that Fatal 4.
Yeah.
No, because so many multi-man matches, there's like two guys having like a breather on the outside and like two other guys fighting, but this was like a constant motion of everyone. It was great. It was really good. I mean, obviously, Danielson and Claudio are the work rate guys, aren't they? So they're all over the place. But yeah,
they did like multi-man spots in that match really well. So like kind of keep everyone involved. It was really good, good match.
And they had the whole like Claudio and Danielson being on the same team but fighting against each other, and then Jericho and Sammy did the same thing, and it was like it was great, lovely. Right, keeping with Chris Jericho, because it's, you know, like you said, it's just been January 6th. It'd be rude not to talk about him.
Number 9.
My number 9 is Eddie Kingston versus Chris Jericho from AEW Revolution 2022. Now, the match was really good fun and I enjoyed it, but I want to talk for my 30 seconds about just the promo that led into this match, which is still my favorite promo of 2022. One of my favorite promos now of all time. It's the one where Jericho comes out with the security guards and Eddie's like, why do I even have to be here? I don't want to do this. This is pointless. Get Willow Nightingale out, let her wrestle. And then Eddie just gets progressively angrier as Jericho like basically just goes through, tries to get his shit in on the mic, and Eddie's just not having any of it. And it ends with Eddie like screaming in his face, like, give me the Chris Jericho that went to New Japan. Don't give me the fucking Mimosa guy. Give me the one that fucking Triple H hated. Otherwise I'm gonna fucking wreck you. And it's so good. It's like it's Eddie Kingston. It is like sort of smirking, dangerous best on the mic. And Jericho.
He's just a working man's man, ain't he?
Yeah, and he's the perfect guy. He's the perfect guy to go up against Jericho, because Jericho is this like, you know, Renaissance man who reinvents himself every 6 months to keep himself relevant, and he always changes his gimmick and he always changes his persona. And Eddie's like, well, you're a fake motherfucker, and I'm me forever. So, you know. Yeah, it was, and the match itself was really, and Eddie won. He tapped Jericho out, which you almost never see, which is
Yeah.
good.
That was a banging match. My next one is one that we were all in attendance for, and that is Alex Colon versus Drew Parker from night 2 of TNT and GCW.
Yes,
Anyone got
boy.
it? No one got it?
No, I wish I
Awesome.
put it in my honourable mentions now because that blanked my mind.
Yeah, this was probably the best death match I've ever seen in person. It was fucking insane. There was a bit where Drew Parker threw himself off a balcony. He threw darts at Eddie Kingston. Alex Colon.
Yeah, that was rough.
The finish saw him like just jumping off the ladder. Two of the best deathmatch wrestlers in the world, having what is unsurprisingly one of the best death matches you will ever see.
I remember for a large part of this match, like having to hold Aaron up. I don't know if that's because he was hammered or because he was going weak at the knees or a bit of both.
It was both.
See as soon as those darts came out, I was like, oh, that's it. Life's complete. I get to see the darts in person.
On a personal note as well, like Drew Parker's someone who he's been announced for a couple of shows I've been at and always like either like had to pull out or been injured. So to finally get to see him wrestle was like so fucking cool for me because he's awesome. But this was
fun fact. I danced with him on a nightclub floor.
You did,
Drew Parker, yeah.
It was Infusion, wasn't it?
Did he throw darts at you?
No, surprisingly not.
He should have.
Next year, maybe next year.
But yeah, it was awesome. It was just a great weekend in general. But that was my match of the weekend. So I thought I should probably put it in the top 10.
Yeah, fair. Troy, you're number 9.
My number 9 is from 5th of November. Where was it at? Roman Reigns and Logan Paul. Was it Crown Jewel or?
Yeah, it was Crown Jewel.
Crown Jewel. This match was better than I think it had any right to be. Really, Logan Paul surprised a lot of people. Like, obviously, he'd had matches before and impressed, but this was fantastic. I really, really enjoyed it. Like, the moment that keeps standing out for me from this match is just that still where you've got Logan Paul coming off the rope and Reigns going up for, I think it's a Superman punch, and it just looks like a fucking Dragon Ball. It looks like a Dragon Ball Z still. It's nuts. But yeah, it was just an impressive performance again from Logan Paul, and I think we've had it for the last couple of years, like since Roman's been champion. It's like any match he has, it's like he's not dropping it. And whilst ultimately we all knew he wasn't going to drop it, they really did make you feel at some points that he might just beat him. It was never going to happen, but it did a good job of making you think, maybe. Yeah, it was really, really good. I enjoyed it massively. And this is someone that despises Logan Paul, but this was a really fun match.
Yeah, sweet. Yeah, fair. Aaron?
I hope we've got a klaxon for every time I say GCW.
I'm going to have to drop one in now, aren't I?
I have one that Troy put as an honorable mention. GCW, I Never Liked You. Will Ospreay versus Nick Wayne, the main event.
Yeah.
I missed it when it actually happened, so I had to watch it like 2 days ago. It was the one match I was like, I'm going to watch it. I kept forgetting about it, then realizing, oh, fuck, I've not watched it yet. I watched it yesterday, and fuck me, is it a banger. Will Ospreay is fantastic at what he does. Nick Wayne, he's the young prodigy that is fantastic at what he does. Can't go wrong with it. There's so many close counts where Nick Wayne could win the match against Will Ospreay, but ultimately, same as Roman Reigns and Logan Paul, you knew it was never going to happen, but the crowd were invested, which made you invested. There you go.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen it, but I now want to see it.
Yeah, do. It's superb.
It was a match I was wanting to go back to watch, and I just completely, as you said, you forgot about it. I completely forgot about it because there was other stuff that I was like, I really want to watch that because I want to like try and get it on my list. But yeah, I'll probably be watching that this afternoon.
Anything, Ryan?
No, move on.
Okay.
I do have some matches. But
No worries.
I'm not
No worries.
too early.
Just jump in. Just
Who
jump in as and
comes
when.
to a
It's
top 10 without 10? What's this all
I'm
about?
about 5. I
We've,
couldn't rank them all.
we've got plenty to talk about. It's all right. Right, for my number 8, I'm also going to keep it GC Dub. Again, that's a match we were all in attendance for. This was the GC. I think this was actually the GCW show, the middle day. It was Cole Radrick versus Joe Lando versus Leon Slater versus Tony Deppen.
Yeah.
The 4-way match. I think it was for Cole's title, was it?
Yeah.
The
Extreme title, yeah.
This was just
yes.
flippy boy nonsense. I just love this for multiple reasons. One, because it was the first time I got to see Tony Deppen wrestle in person, which was really good fun because he was just repeatedly trying to spit in Troy's mouth.
Tosser.
And also that bit where Leon Slater jumped over the turnbuckle and landed like 3 feet in front of all of us. And then on the wide shot on Fight TV, you can just see Ryan losing his fucking mind. Which was really good fun. Yeah, I mean, it's like these 4 guys is never going to be a bad match. When Tony Deppen's like the fucking technical wrestler anchor guy, it's a flippy boy time.
Yeah, from what I remember, I enjoyed that match very, very well.
I'm surprised you remember fucking anything from that weekend. Jesus Christ. Absolute animal.
Yeah, so
night 2 was the day we were all the most sober, to be fair.
Yeah, night 2 was the day after night 1 when we all got hammered. So I think
as soon as I got hanging at Mars, I started drinking again. So
I didn't see you at any point that weekend without a beer in your hand. At least one beer.
Yeah, but no, that was my favorite match from the 3 shows, and that's why I put it on here. So
nice.
Yeah, Jay.
I know for a fact someone's gonna have this tie at Gunther versus Sheamus.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll park that. Moving on then, Troy, your number 8.
This is from SummerSlam on the 30th of July. It's Roman Reigns against Brock Lesnar, last man standing.
Is this the tractor one?
Yes, it is the tractor one, specifically for the tractor spot.
Probably their best match.
I think it was their best match. It was just silly fun. I know no one was not into it, but the announcement of this was met with, understandably, a lot of groans like, great, again, another one.
I mean, they've gone to the well so many times, and they were finding lost children down there.
You found Pennywise.
With that said, they do it because it still brings people going.
It's still a money match.
It
may not be what any of us want to see, but it's still a money match.
The
that's why they're doing it. Exactly. This was like super fun though. It's a last man standing match. There's obviously no DQ, just silly bollocks all the time. Like Brock coming in on the tractor was hilarious. Brock standing on top of the tractor when he got announced was hilarious. Lifting up the ring.
I just like Brock for like 3 months this year. I was like, I'm just going to go full farmer.
Yeah,
full farmer. Play Farming Simulator just once. Just once. Yeah, this was just fucking wild. Like absolutely nuts. Silly bollocks fun. Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot.
My only thing with that match is the finish, because they didn't do the finish properly, because they were just piling shit on Brock, and the referee was still counting. It's like, you need to stop the counting.
Yeah. I agree.
Still a good match, though.
Yeah.
Aaron, you want to break, please, mate?
My number 8 is AEW.
Oh, not GCW.
Not
hell.
GCW.
I think you misspoke there, mate. Yeah.
I'll put the klaxon away. Hang on.
Troy's already set it off very preemptively.
Mine is going to be the Trios Tournament semi-final match on the 31st of August between the Elite and United Empire.
Yeah, this is a match I totally forgot about until you just said it, and it was,
obviously Kenny and Ospreay have had their beef on Twitter for so long already, and then proceeds. This match is the first time they're in the ring together, and they just tease it and tease it and tease it constantly, as
just
well
the
as
tip.
Just the tip, and you've constantly got all this action around it with the Young Bucks in there, and Davis and Fletcher aren't like. They're not standing out as not as good. They're matching the pace. They're matching the greatness of the Jacksons. The Jacksons? Who calls them the Jacksons?
The Jackson 2.
The Bucks. The Bucks and Kenny. So it's 6 men that are perfectly good at what they're doing, and It's great trios action, and you've got Osprey and Omega there teasing the rivalry.
Yeah, it was almost like two matches in one. This wasn't it? 'Cause it was like the Bucks and Aussie Open having an actual tag team match, and then Kenny and Omega, like you say, doing the sort of like edging you for like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And there was
There's the big face off at the end of the match as well, like at the side of the ring, which isn't even on Dynamite. I think you had to go to YouTube to see it.
It was on Air Fight at the end, like after the Dynamite went off the air. There was also like that bit with Osprey was like an assassin in a kung fu movie, where like the Bucks were trying to do moves on him, he just landed on his feet every time.
Yeah,
That was a bang match.
Okay, Ryan, anything for you, mate?
Okay, let me have a look. Hang on.
Boy, you've got 5. Do one every 2. Come on.
Yeah.
Have you've got such a massive list to consult from?
I've got like multiple tabs open. Hang on. Do you know what?
For 5 matches.
He's got 50 open. He's just trying to choose his best 5 now.
Let's go with John Moxley versus Effie. Can't remember what show was that.
The one where they did kissing.
Yes, at Homecoming Part 1. That's what it was.
Yeah, that's fair.
I just love the story we got told about this, where Effie said basically John Moxley is the only person that his partner allowed him to kiss on the mouth.
Yeah.
And he said he tasted like an ashtray of manliness.
Yeah.
He also did an incredible John Moxley impression that he didn't do on our interview with him, which I'm very good about, but also feel very honoured because it was like it was
just for me
like
and you that it was great.
Yeah, it was like spot on. It really was.
Nice.
Awesome. Right, lovely.
Yeah.
Short and sweet. Next up then, my number 7 with the 7 now. Yeah. I'm going for Alexis Falcon versus Charles Crowley in a dog collar match at Gold Day in Hell.
Nice.
Anyone else? No?
Nah.
All right, so this was the culmination of like a year-long feud of basically it was Crowley basically saying that he wanted to bring the best version of Alexa out of herself, and he's going to do that basically by demeaning her in any way possible. He referred to this match. There was a bit of before this match took place, there was a bit of a kerfuffle on Twitter about intergender wrestling, and Crowley, just to give you an idea of how the feud was going, Crowley said that this match wouldn't be intergender wrestling; it would be animal abuse.
Fucking hell.
Early on in the match, Crowley hits Alexa with the dog collar chain wrapped around his fist and hits her with it, busts her open, and towards the end of the match, Alexa's got Crowley and she's going to wrap the chain around him and do her like Sister Abigail style finisher, but she can't bring herself to do it because she's like too pure. So just Crowley on his knees just spits in her face. So she turns around, wipes the spit off her face, and as she does, she gets some of her blood in her hand. And she like looks at it, like puts like tastes her own blood, and then turns around and just fucking nails him and pins him.
Nice.
It was great. It was I've done a very short job of selling it. It was a masterclass in like psychology and everything. We got 3 dog collar matches this year, big high profile ones. This one, Punk and FTR Briscoes, and none of them sucked, and that was a miracle. It was great.
Nice. Good man.
Jay?
Should we talk about another one of those dog collar matches?
Ooh.
Ooh.
I've got Punk versus MJF too in mind. Anyone else got it?
The tasty don't put his hand up.
I didn't put any Punk on my list. I think Brawl Out just spoiled Punk for me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we're watching all the old Rumbles like before this year's, and CM Punk keeps popping out. It's like, ugh.
Yeah, he's definitely. I've definitely got a bad taste in my mouth over him, but this match, just purely for the storytelling, the whole kind of sort of laying the groundwork for where MJF is now. It really, really was a fantastic job. Down to like little stuff like Punk coming out in his old Ring of Honor gear and like to sort of like solidify, oh yeah, you get like the old violent Punk.
To AFI as well.
To AFI.
It was good because the whole point of this the feud was MJF was saying Punk's gone PG now, he's not the Punk he was, and it was like, all right, you fucking called this out, man. You wanted this, you fucking got this. You wanted old horrible Punk, you've got old horrible Punk,
and then it never went away.
Yeah, and then, but that the thing was, which is insane. Like we were talking about this, obviously, like covering it week by week. That MJF, it was almost like he was goading Punk to like let his mask slip, and you'd see moments of it throughout the year. And obviously, like, Brawl Out happened, and it was like, oh yeah, okay. But yeah, like, I think one of the biggest injustices for wrestling fans is that we didn't get the culmination of this story. But if this is the culmination, it was still fucking unreal.
Also, it set Wardlow off on his current direction as well, which is quite cool.
Yeah.
And special shout out as well to the Dynamite after where Punk cut that promo backstage after this match, where he was like, he stopped off and just spat out a mouthful of blood, which was fucking. And he was like, "Yeah, I'm starting to remember who the fuck I am." And it was like, "Oh, not like that, mate. Come on."
Don't want you selling that shit, brother.
brother.
Troy, then you're number 7.
Also, go to Mindy's Bakery. They're not open Mondays and Tuesdays.
Vegan friendly.
Mine comes from the 31st of March from WrestleCon. The Mark Hitchin Memorial Show is Bandido against Speedball Mike Bailey.
Damn.
Yeah, I went fucking niche on some of these, mate.
So this was like a slow-paced, like psychological match, right?
Yeah. Methodical, like slow as you bollocks. It was 25 minutes of absolute breakneck speed.
Just perpetual motion.
I had to watch it in half speed just to catch up. This was fucking ludicrous. I've never been in. I've always preferred slightly slower paced matches. Not to say that I don't appreciate this style of match, but I think I say this year, it's 2023 now. Last year, I opened my eyes a lot to certainly people like Mike Bailey, Bandido, and other really fucking quick, fast, flippy guys. But this for me was a particular standout, and I've certainly gained a new appreciation for that. As you said, just ridiculously fast paced, but also really stiff as well. Like, I don't think I realized quite how strong Bandido was either. It's just all quads and all shoulders. He gets Speedball up for like a stalling vertical suplex and holds him up for like a full minute, and the crowd like count along for a full minute. There's a really fun moment where one of them's on the outside, the other one comes through, does something over the ropes, knocks him down, celebrates. As he's celebrating, the other guy goes back in the ring, comes off the ropes, goes over the top, hits him with something, celebrates. The other guy goes, and they trade that for 2-3 minutes. It's mental. If you can seek it out anywhere, go and watch it because it's proper fun.
Sweet. Aaron?
Number 7, we're now in the WWE main roster segment of Aaron's top 10. I have
God.
What's wrong, Troy?
God.
Number 7, we're going to WrestleMania. It's Johnny Knoxville versus Sami Zayn in an anything goes match.
I have it higher.
You have it higher. Let's go.
If I hadn't made a list, I would have put it higher as well.
Sorry, Ryan's got it at number 1. We'll wait.
No,
he's not got it at number 1. I know what Ryan's number 1 is.
Ryan's got nothing at number 1 because he doesn't have a fucking list.
No. One in my head.
He had one on his list.
Just one. Just one.
Anything for you, Ryan?
I will throw in one out. Let's go with the Clusterfuck Battle Royal from Joey Janela's Spring Break Part 2.
Was this the one at Mania weekend?
Yes.
Was this a GCW show?
Yeah, it's just on Sean Ross Sapp.
Yes, the Sean
Ross
Sapp.
That was the one,
Yeah, that was really good fun.
It
We watched this.
It introduced me to early morning Guy Steele, and I still don't know what I think about him.
We all watched this at the brewery, didn't we, before Mania, which was quite fun.
We did, yeah.
This match lasted 82 minutes and
49 seconds. Yeah, because it was the greatest clusterfuck.
How long was it?
82 minutes.
Fucking hell.
It was half the show.
Yeah, but
that's more wrestling than on like 5 episodes of Raw.
I would just like to clarify that it's down marks because all 3 members of the Second Gear crew won that match.
The finishes were a bit.
The finish is 3 men won it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a clusterfuck.
And one of them was not.
The finish was a literal clusterfuck.
What's his face? Jimmy Yang was in it too.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And so was his daughter.
He didn't
And
have
his daughter.
he didn't have his party bus though, so
Yeah.
Maven was in it as well.
Maven
Oh,
was
fucking hell.
Jimmy Wang Yang and his daughter eliminated Josh Barnett, actual MMA fighter.
Ray Titus was in there as well. There you go.
The Invisible Man was on.
Invisible Man was in there as well. There you go.
What, John Cena?
Invisible Stan was unfortunately not available. He had a booking previous that he couldn't. I must say one thing I really appreciate this in a year where both the Rumbles were kind of wank. This was a really fun motherfucker of a battle royal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it proved it had that like anything can happen like to it that the Rumbles this year didn't have.
Was it a battle royale or was it a Royal
No, it was a Royal
Rumble?
Rumble.
The Rumble.
Oh, okay.
The clusterfuck every year is just a Royal Rumble.
It was an over the top like motherfucker thing.
Yeah.
Which begs the question: how do you know Invisible Man was eliminated if you can't see his teeth?
Someone, I assume, threw him out.
Oh,
and
fuck
the
it. It's
crowd-
just like Curtis
the crowd-
Axel all over again, isn't it?
Red Titus.
Is he still technically in the match?
Threw him out.
Yeah.
Curtis Axel's still technically in the Rumble from about 5-6
Yeah,
years
but,
ago.
but did anyone see Invisible Man's feet hit the floor? That's what I'm asking.
Did anyone see his feet?
Commentary were wearing their Janela Vision goggles and seen it happen and told
Right,
us. There you go.
Aye, sure.
Didn't he also do a spot where when he got thrown out, he landed on someone else and he bumped for it?
Yeah.
They need
Yeah.
to do
So-
one year with Invisible Man match. They need to do a spot where like the lights go out and like someone blows flour at him, and when he comes back on, there's a guy covered in flour in the middle of the ring.
Like fucking Hollow Man.
I'll fucking book that. Get fucking Orange Cassidy. I'll do it in a mask. Get into it. Get down for that.
Oh God.
Right, on to number 6 then. I'm going to have another Alexis Falcon match. This is one that was on my first half of the year. I've actually moved it up because I've sort of been thinking, it's a match that's stuck in my mind for the whole year. This was Alexis Falcon versus Harley Hudson from Wrestle Island. This is the way. It was the first match I ever saw at a Wrestle Island show, so I don't know if it sort of sticks in my head a bit more because of that. It was a really fun match, just because basically Alexis Falcon had to turn heel halfway through because the crowd was so fervently behind Harley Hudson, and she sold it really well. Like she almost looked like she was about to cry like about 3 times in the match, despite being on top. Just because of the crowd reaction she was getting from beating up like Harley Hudson, who's like basically, if you don't know who Harley Hudson is, she's like a 9-stone, quite muscly but very small, like pixie-looking girl with pink hair, who's from like North Liverpool, and it's hard as fucking nails. It was Alexis Falcon beating the piss out of her, and then Harley just taking all the punishment, then coming back and whooping her ass and winning the women's title, which was an amazing moment. It was like people were like on their feet cheering, crying in the audience. There were like little girls crying in the audience. They were that happy. It was a real nice like moment to be involved in. It was really good fun.
Yeah. Yeah, big shout out to Wrestle Island.
Yeah, go and watch Wrestle Island. That show is actually they've just put that show up on YouTube for free, I think, as well. So
yeah, we're going to their show in, is it 3 weeks?
Yeah, Rumble baby.
Yeah. My number 6 is the Acclaimed versus Swerve in Our Glory 1 from All Out.
The best one. The one they didn't win.
Yeah, the one
but
Wasn't
one
that in
didn't
someone's honourable mentions?
It was in Tasty's honourable mentions.
Also, cool.
Yeah, this. So, Ryan, were we on a call, a Zoom call for this? I feel like we were.
I think so. Probably.
Yeah. And we didn't say like a word to one another after about 5 minutes because we were that into this match.
Was this the one I was in the Zoom call and I was nodding away and I literally fell asleep?
You were asleep by this point.
Yes. Yes. Oh, fuck.
You did it. And you've been
Was that good, yeah?
all day.
Oh, I'd been up since like 5 a.m, so I was working that day. So
This is the one where we had to message Courtney and go, "You need to go and get her in the bed."
Yeah. So yeah, me and Ryan were watching it on a Zoom call. Aaron was asleep on the Zoom call. And as I say, after about 5 minutes, we didn't say a word to each other. We just reacted to the match. The crowd were absolutely red hot for the Acclaimed. Whenever a team can get, or a wrestler can get Keith Lee booed, you know they're fucking over.
Yeah.
And this was like kind of for me where the Acclaimed really were like, okay, they have actually arrived. Like, for me, they should have strapped them up there. They should have called them.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Give them the belt.
But we got extra matches out of it, which is fun.
Oh yeah, we did.
Was this the match?
Would have always got a rematch.
Was this the match where Bowens referred to them as Timon and Pumbaa?
Yes, it was.
So they were going to beat their Timon and Pumbaa looking asses.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, across the 3 matches, they had some fucking brilliant like nicknames for them. Obviously they didn't use Keenan and Kel because Ricky Starks had already beaten to it, but
yeah,
they did have Timon and Pumbaa, and
at one point, Max Caster said they looked like an 8 and 20 ounce of Pepsi.
Yeah,
fuck me.
I know Max Caster called Keith Lee Cleveland Jr. at one point as well.
What was better, the banter or the match?
The match was unreal.
The match was breathless, wasn't it? It was like
and the story going in was that Anthony Bowens is injury prone and he always lets Max Caster down. So naturally, because Swerve's an absolute piece of garbage, he went straight after Anthony Bowens' surgically repaired knee and just spent the match kicking the shit out of it. There was a really good kind of like long-term tease of Swerve and Glory not being on the same page, but just because they were both that good, that's why they worked as a team. And this came into this match as well. It was one of those matches where when the dust settled, I was like, that was incredible, but I was like genuinely gutted the Acclaim didn't win.
Yeah.
Cool. Right. Troy.
Mm-hmm. So my number 6 comes from the 3rd of September. It's WWE Clash at the Castle, Sheamus and Gunther. Does anyone have that higher? You had it slightly lower though, didn't you, Jay? So we can both wax lyrical.
It was my number 8.
Number 8. Yeah, this was fucking excellent. Like Clash at the Castle generally was a really fun pay-per-view. I think, was it the first one that was like properly under Triple H's control, like post Vince departure? It helped that it was in Wales, so it was on the doorstep, closer than, I don't know, America.
Be yourself, pal.
Practically next door.
Yeah, in comparison. But yeah, I was lucky enough to go to this, and it was super fun. This was really cool because I remember, and you'll remember as well, Jay, from when we watched NXT UK, and we had the Walter and Dragunov match, and they had various people from main roster watching it and just being like, oh, fuck, that's vicious, that's rough, I wouldn't want to be in that match. And Sheamus, I think, was probably the only person, maybe him and Drew.
Sheamus, Drew, and Claudio were all
that's
like,
it. They were like,
I want to wrestle him.
I want to wrestle him. That's the sort of match I want. And everyone knows Sheamus to be, real stiff and just a fucking workhorse. And he's had a great year this year. So this was really nice to see him get that match that a couple of years ago said that he wanted. And obviously there's the story behind it with their various factions, Brawling Brutes and Imperium. But yeah, just to finally get this match, it got 5. So not that Meltzer's the gospel, but I think this is the first 5-star WWE match for a fair while, possibly, or one of very few.
Well,
Cody and Seth.
Cody and Seth, yeah.
But for 2 5-star matches in a year for WWE is unheard of. It's mad.
Outside of NXT,
yeah. But yeah, no, this was just fantastic. It was everything you'd expect from 2 guys that like to beat the piss out of people, and that's exactly what they did. Yeah, just so much fun. Yeah. Jay, have you got anything more about it?
Just a good old fashioned house fight, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was a bit more kind of like I've seen people like compare it to like Brody and Hansen, and that was kind of what the vibe it gave me, like an old school, just tough big man fight.
Thick boys.
They knocked lumps out of each other. Sheamus gave you the kind of hope that he might win, even though we knew he wouldn't, which again, as we've kind of like elaborated, they're like the best matches when you know someone's never going to win the match, but
there's
still
that
kind
little glimmer, that little, yeah. That was fantastic.
Yeah, it was really much.
Yeah, man.
We going to GCW, Aaron?
What's next on the GCW this time?
No, we're still in the WWE part of this fucking
list.
For now.
Did somebody say Cody and Seth? How's about we speak about the Hell in a Cell match?
You can.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
everyone on Twitter or listening to this will go mad. But it's only because he got an injured pick.
It's nothing to do with that. It was just a fucking good match.
Out of the 3 matches they had, this was the one that didn't slow down. It had great story going into it from the previous 2 matches as well.
And was this not a time they used Hell in a Cell properly as a blow off to a feud, and not just we'll just have him in a Hell in a Cell?
We don't know because he was injured.
Wow, true.
It's like, we're telling us our next pay-per-view, so I guess it's
and also Rollins attacked them the night after, which means they're probably going to continue the feud when Cody comes back.
I mean, if you said to me, Seth Rollins is doing another Hell in a Cell match, then you get the fear, don't you? You think, oh shit, the last one was real bad. But this was like a rehabilitation of like the entire match type.
Yeah, it was good to see Cody getting time to show that he's not just a wrestler. He can do all the stories and all the like weaponized stuff. It was fun. I
don't think there's anyone in wrestling who does body horror quite like Cody Rhodes.
Yeah,
body horror.
Body horror.
Yeah, I mean he had like the whole black arm. He's got the neck tattoo. He's got the amount of times that bloodlet for days. Yeah,
the neck tattoo. Is that defined as body horror? Yeah.
Oh god, yeah.
I mean, would you get that tattoo?
It could be worse. I could get I don't know, Brock Lesnar or something tattooed on me. Or...
You could get Aaron's face on your ass.
Yeah, here we go.
Aaron's face. That was it. I couldn't remember what the agreement was. Or you could lose your eyebrows. It could always be worse.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you woke up with that tattoo on your neck, wouldn't you have body horror? I would.
If you have Seth Rollins as a dirty bastard wearing Dusty's like gears, polka dots and stuff,
shit bag,
total shit bag. Seth is the best Seth.
Yeah,
they had a bull rope match mid Hell in a Cell as well.
Yeah, like the match itself is fantastic, regardless if Cody's injured or not. Like, go watch it. It's my match of the year for main roster. Is that match?
There's so many little nods, little nuances. Like, as you say, like Seth's gear was a great shout. Like the bull rope match as well was another like good like callback. Seth had a fucking great year, but this was like definitive of that.
Apart from losing to Cody 3 times in the space of 3 months, but yeah.
How would you lose that many matches in a calendar year and still be over as? I'd still be voted
the same person.
To the same person, but also like I think something daft like 74 matches or something he lost last year, and it was still voted number 1 wrestler by Sports Illustrated ranked him number 1 this year last year.
I'll tell you why, Troy, because at the start of his theme song it says "Burn It Down" and everyone gets to shout that, and I really like it. So
right,
I think that helps a lot.
Sure.
Plus,
sure
he does the funny faces backstage, doesn't he? Which is fun.
He also got a great wardrobe.
He's got if you've got like quality drip, then you can survive anything basically.
Sure.
Yeah. Look at Ricky Starks. Hasn't wrestled regularly for like 2 years on TV. Yet he come out into one program with MJF, and he's the most over guy in the business because of his mad drip.
So it's not about your in-ring ability; it's about your wardrobe and your extravagant clothing.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Noted. I know what I need to do to break into the pro wrestling business.
That's why Stan Hansen was never considered the top guy.
Outside of Japan.
Yeah, because in Japan that counts as drip. Apparently, that's like high fashion.
But Randy Savage, on the other hand, top guy. Look at that drip.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ryan, you got anything before we move on? Or are you gonna keep your powder dry?
I'll keep one. I'll keep it.
Okay, keep it easily.
I thought you had 5. I thought you were doing one for every 2.
I did one halfway.
You can do whatever you want. It's fine. There's no
okay. Let's go Stone Cold versus Kevin Owens because it's Stone Cold wrestling in 2023.
Yeah,
that's the only reason.
We didn't know we wanted it. I mean,
and it was the best. It was the best stunner we saw at Mania Weekend. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Pat McAfee's stunner cell was fantastic.
Yeah, it fucking was.
When he was still drinking his beer on the floor.
Yeah, that was fun. I enjoyed that a lot. Yeah. Like, Austin fucking went as well, man. I was
Yeah.
like, it's going to be slow and laboured, but they were fucking everywhere as well. Like they were
He
brawling
took
in
a
the crowd,
suplex on
weren't
the
they?
fucking ground.
They incorporate a quad bike into the match, which I believe gives them
Like-
some. That takes a special award, I think.
Genuinely, like that is a prime Austin match. Like in Attitude Era, that's all he did. He brawled before the match,
Yeah.
and then he done a couple of things in the actual match in the ring, and then won the match.
Yeah.
Like that's what this was. They went everywhere and brawled with
Mhm.
stuff, and then went in the ring, and the match was over.
Yeah.
Essentially. So
Yeah.
there you go.
That's a great show. I love that. That was
That's how Austin works, and it's good. If,
Yeah.
if it works, keep it. Don't change it.
Yeah.
Mm.
Good show.
Personally, I was upset he didn't do it so big. One Spanish fly. Come on now, Austin.
Fucking
Change it
hell. Pull your finger out, man.
Right then, we'll move on to our number fives. I'll start it out with Tony Storm versus Jamie Hayter from AEW Full Gear. So this is the match where Jamie Hayter won the women's world title, which the crowd were red hot for. Like the sort of the Jamie Hayter sentiment in AEW has been building over the last sort of like 6 months, when everyone realized, hang on, she just hits people really hard, and that's really cool. And so it's they sort of they basically just had a Joshi Pro basically a Stardom match in AEW, because it was like, here's two women and they're just gonna beat the piss out of each other for like 15 minutes, and yeah, it's just, if they started at high intensity. All right, there's a bit of fuckery at the end with Britt, but nothing too egregious. And yeah, Jamie Hayter won, which was awesome, and she became women's champion.
Yeah, banging match.
More of this. Jamie Hayter has carried this AEW women's division for the last 6 months now in terms of like in-ring performances. She has been an absolute revelation.
I'd say even longer, to be honest. Like Women's Battle of the Belts, where Britt had the rematch with Thunder Rosa, was that like May?
Possibly. I mean, I think it started around the 4-way match at All Out when they really started pushing Jamie.
Yeah. Jamie's had a fucking hell of a year.
And that theme, man, fucking hell. Mikey Ruckus was threatened to do a 30-minute remix which incorporates other AEW wrestlers' themes into it.
I love just Jamie Hayter's theme song. It's great just to hear it every time she comes
Is that
out.
the one that's proper doof, doof, doof?
Yeah,
doof?
it's like Wigan Pier.
Wigan Pier.
Scouse House.
Yeah,
it's fucking great. Yeah, it was a great match. Tony Storm, I think, has been, there's an argument that she's one of the most important signings AEW made in the last 12 months in terms of what she's done for her division. And her and Jamie, and they built it up really well. They said like, oh yeah, we used to be like flatmates, like back when during lockdown we were living together, and then Tony went away and like obviously joined WWE, and she like left Jamie behind and went on to like Stardom, and now they find themselves at the same place, and it was basically go time, and it was just, these are two badass women who are gonna just batter each other for your entertainment, and that's amazing.
I've got Jamie Hayter versus Hikaru Shida.
Higher.
Or you'd have a higher.
What are we on? Number 5. 2nd of April. I think it's the 2nd of April. Night 1, night 2. I can't remember. Anyway, it was Jonathan Knoxville against Sami Zayn from WrestleMania 38.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, boy. It's
Big, massive side hand to you, sir.
that was, for me, that's the best fucking spot of the match. Either that or the giant mousetrap.
I popped so hard for Giant Hand. It was,
because it
incredible.
came from fucking nowhere.
They somehow legitimately, with WWE having 1 million camera cuts every 4 seconds, they somehow managed to hide an enormous hand at the side of the
ring. What about when Wee Man did the Hogan Andre spot with Sammy?
Yeah.
my only slight criticism, and it's not really because of the match itself, I would have liked to have seen like more Jackass guys involved.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Like original Jackass guys as well.
Yeah, not like
Did you see Danger Aaron had a
fucking...
match on the Indies not that long ago?
Really?
Danger Aaron from Jackass.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, for, it was either Prestige or Defy. It was what? It was like
Defy. Yeah,
it was like a Northwest US promotion.
Nice.
He had an actual match because he wasn't included in the Jackass match.
Yeah, this was super fun. Like it's everything you expect from like anything. Like there's always these celebrity matches in there at Mania, and I think a lot of people like, because initially wasn't this rumored to be for the Intercontinental Championship? Then didn't Sammy drop it just before? Because I'm sure in the run up to this,
Knoxville cost him it, didn't he?
That was it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how they settled the match.
That's it. Yeah. But it was just fucking silly fun. I'd say like the giant mousetrap, the hand, Wee Man. What else happened there? The electric shock thing as well. That he got the taser thing that he got him with on the top turnbuckle. If you watch, there's the Broken Skull sessions. The Sami Zayn one is really good. He ranks this in one of his favorite matches he's ever been in. And he was saying that the amount of work that like Knoxville put into it, like, and if you remember in the match, there's the bit at the end with the mousetrap where it's meant to trap him and it doesn't go off. And he had the announcer be like, right, fuck it, I'll do this instead. And he even said, like, in like the kind of rehearsals for the match, he was like, what if it doesn't go off? We need a fail safe. And so it was that in tune to it and knew exactly what to do in the match. It was so much fun. Like, just silly bollocks. But this is like, that's what wrestling is. Like, wrestling needs to have some silly bollocks. It doesn't always need to be serious. And this was prime nonsense.
I think because on that night, if I remember it, I couldn't tell you what was on night 1 and night 2. But most of the both nights of the cards were like serious matches and just normal matches of some sort. And then this thing popped out like middle of the card, like
the proper palate cleanser.
So good.
Yeah, it was quite a dry night at Mania, wasn't it? And
yeah.
This was just some like real. This was like the special sauce that like made everything taste a bit better.
Yeah.
And I think it was comfortably the best celebrity match that I've ever seen at a WrestleMania.
I personally, I would say that. Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, I think so. Just because of how memorable it was, like. As far as performance, I'd say Bad Bunny probably edges it, but
I can't tell you any of the bits from that match. So I remember nearly everything that happened in this match.
Yeah, exactly.
That night was night 2. You had the triple threat tag team match: RKO, Street Profits, and Alpha Academy. Lashley and Omos, Banks and Naomi in the fatal 4-way tag.
Actually, that was the match I gave -5 stars, wasn't it?
Yeah. You got the backward spear in that one. That was that one.
Oh god.
Yeah. The backward spear.
Yeah, but yeah. Johnny
Knoxville and Sami
This match was like eating a weed brownie in the middle of like a corporate retreat. Like everyone else talking about spreadsheets and you're chasing fucking unicorns over in the corner.
Those fucking edibles just kicked in at the right moment. Yeah, that was so good. So good.
Sweet.
Yeah, that was Knoxville and Sami Zayn.
Aaron?
Number 5, we're going to finish this WWE segment, but not on main roster. We're going to NXT, baby.
Yeah,
boy. Yeah, boy. And we're going to the treacherous path that is 2.0 as well.
Oh, God.
It's going to be Dolph Ziggler and Braun Breaker, isn't it?
No, it's not. I know. Go on.
That was on Raw, I'll have you know. It's Dolph Ziggler, Braun Breaker, and Tommaso Ciampa at Roadblock.
That's a shout, actually. That was a pretty good match.
Genuinely, I think that for me, that's match of this year's NXT. Like,
it's
Ziggler.
You carry on.
Right, okay.
Yeah, go on.
You've got Dolph there saving 2.0's ass, like being the main guy here. Braun Breaker is like he's the next up and coming. He's got the main roster soon. Let's be honest, because Grayson Waller's taking the title off him. And Tommaso Ciampa, he's a veteran at what he does. He's very good, very respected by fans and wrestlers.
Mr. Black and Gold.
Yeah. Triple threat between the three of them. I think it went like 20 minutes or something. 15, 20 minutes, I think. It was fantastic. There was always something happening. That's what you want in a triple threat, is something always happening non-stop. And that's what we got.
Yeah. I love that match. And I didn't put it in my honorable mentions, but I said it was equally as good a triple threat, and that was Braun Breaker, Ilya Dragunov, and JD McDonough.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the mix of who was in that match, in the one that you mentioned, probably edged it, because you had the experience of Ziggler, you also had the experience of Ciampa as well. So it was good to see how Breaker kind of fitted in there. So yeah. That's good.
And it's when Ziggler won the title, so
Don't
extra thumbs up for that, baby.
Was it a world title that he won?
Wrestler of the year.
A big jackass size fucking hand thumbs up. You what?
Co-wrestler of the year.
Co-wrestler of the year.
Co-wrestler of the year and unsung hero, boys. Let's go.
Yeah, because that makes sense.
Let's go.
Don't worry about it.
Oh, man.
Ryan, you got anything, mate, for 5?
Let's throw out Tournament of Survival 7 final. No rope barbed wire death match. Drew Parker defeats Matt Tremont. What?
We'll talk about that later, Ryan.
Oh,
Okay, all right.
Moving into number 4, I've got another match that I saw live. This was Leon Slater versus Kenosuke Takeshita. The Progress Deadly Viper Tour Copperhead.
Was that the one in Newcastle?
Sheffield.
That was it.
Yeah, it was like the hottest day of the year. It was piss hot. The air conditioning was sort of working.
Non-existent.
I spent, between me and Sarah, I spent £24 on glasses of Pepsi while we were in the venue just to try and keep hydrated and cool.
Fucking hell.
But I didn't care because basically, I think I showed you all the video. Takeshi did a running knee on Leon Slater, sat him on the chair that Sarah had to vacate, and then ran off and kneed him real hard in the face right in front of us. It was a beautiful match. I think it was the first time I knowingly saw Leon Slater wrestle, and I was like, he was a late entry to the match because I can't remember who Takeshi. I think it was Robbie X. He was meant to wrestle because Robbie X doesn't exist.
He's not real.
And so Leon Slater got pulled in like 3 days beforehand, and I don't know how they put this together in 3 days with a language barrier. Like, fuck me, these guys are incredible.
Fuck, I'd not even thought of the language barrier thing either. That's nuts.
Takeshi speaks decent English.
He's all right English.
okay.
He's only things to say, what if I just knee you in the face really, really hard? I think that's...
and Cinnabon.
And Cinnabon. And then we go get Cinnabon. It's like, okay, yeah, that's fine.
Go get Cinnabon, play with some puppies, it'll all be fun.
But yeah, this match is incredible. Leon Slater is going to be the biggest wrestler in the world in about 3 years' time, and Takeshita, well, AEW just said they're going to push him to the moon. He's going to.
He's been on GCW the past couple of shows as well.
Leon Slater, yeah.
In America, yeah.
He was watching Wrestle Kingdom with Joey Janela and Jimmy Lloyd.
Yeah,
he fell asleep.
He started the Do or Die Rumble and was there till everyone was out as well.
Yeah. Him and Jordan Oliver opened it, didn't he? And had just we need that match like ASAP.
So I feel personally attacked by that. So they had that match. It was him and Nick Wayne. It was him and Nick Wayne earlier on. They had a match at the start of that show on my 35th birthday, and their combined age is 35.
Oh,
that's
man.
disgusting.
So yeah, that felt like a personal attack.
Isn't it? Wait, it's 34, isn't it?
No. I think Nick Wayne's just turned, or someone's just gotten a little bit older. So they actually
Nick Wayne's about to turn 18 in July.
Yeah, because that's when he goes to
17.
But yeah,
well, tasty is still depressing to you either way.
One of them tweeted that the combined age is 35. One of the actual wrestlers that was in the match, and I was like, yeah, well, fuck, that's upsetting.
Wow.
But yeah, what wasn't upsetting was Leon Slater versus Takeshita, as long as you're okay with knee violence.
Knee violence. Knee murder.
Another match I forgot to go back and watch. Two of my favourites, I'll definitely be checking on those. For sure.
Jake, you're number 4, baby.
I've got a funny feeling this is going to be higher on at least 2 people's list. Anarchy in the Arena.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've got it.
Well, yeah.
Ain't no space for AEW on this list.
No, it was because Troy had it quite high up last year.
At the start of the year. Yeah, didn't even make it in this year. Well, at the final one.
Hey, Troy, speaking of which, show me what you got.
Oh, of course, yeah, because you had he's got it high. My number 4, from the 1st of October from Royal Quest 2, FTR versus Aussie Open. Anyone got it higher?
I had that as an honourable mention.
Spoilers, it's not the first time FTR feature on my list. Or rather, it's not the last time.
Is this where Troy throws FTR versus the Briscoes 1, 2, and 3 at us next?
I nearly did that.
Maybe. This was fucking cracking. So I remember seeing Aussie Open at Wrestling Resurgence about 6 years ago when no one knew who the fuck they were.
All right,
I remember thinking, not in that way, but just like
Yeah.
obviously the last year or so for them has been, well, more than that, but certainly the last year for them has just fucking exploded, and everyone knows who they are. Certainly off the back of this match. Yes, Aaron.
I know them from fucking Defiant.
Oh, really?
2017, yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
that was my first indie show. Like I watched weekly was WCPW or Defiant when it changed name.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
they were
I'd
champs there
seen-
for a while.
I'd seen bits of them in that. I
Yeah.
didn't watch it like regularly, but I was familiar with them,
Yeah.
but not
Yeah.
as familiar as I am now.
This match was absolutely superb. So FTR were, I can't remember what belts they had at the time. I think they were
ROH
Japan-
and
ROH and New Japan. Yeah.
IWG. Yeah,
That's
I
it.
watched this
And-
yesterday.
and Aussie Open, were at the time New Japan Strong Champions, I think, with
Yeah.
those lovely blue belts. Yeah, this was fucking cracking. Like, as I say, I watched Aussie Open years and years ago, and they are a completely different team to what they are or were then. And I will be watching a hell of a lot more of them. You always expect a fucking solid tag match anytime it involves FTR, but Aussie Open really, really stepped up to their level. There was a really nice gesture at the end, like a handshake and a kind of recognition of, like, not a passing of the torch, but one of those kind of like,
Whoa,
you know,
they didn't shake hands.
no, well, it was like a kind of moment of recognition.
Can't stop that shit.
Well, yeah, it was gonna happen. Yeah, it was fucking awesome. It was just stiff as fuck. Like, yeah, really, really fucking stiff.
Dax and Mark Davis both got bust open hard way.
Yeah, they did. Off the truss, like the light rig.
Dax got thrown
Dax
into
did.
the rig.
Yeah.
Mark Davis got bust open by a fucking drop kick off Cash, and he was like
He
pissing
would
blood.
not stop bleeding. It was-
I don't think he knew where he was, because there was a bit where like
Yeah,
Kyle Fletcher was literally holding him up for the finish.
yeah.
Just to add to that as well, I might have the best like belt shot I've ever seen in a wrestling match.
Mm-hmm.
In this, where there's like a tug of war between Kyle Fletcher and Dax with one of the belts, like through the ropes. And like as Dax kind of like loses grip, Kyle Fletcher just like in one movement turns around, and Mark Davis has pushed Cash into Kyle Fletcher with the belt. But it was like seamless. So,
Yeah.
this was a very good match. Very good.
Yeah.
Okay, Aaron, your number 4, mate.
Number 4, GC Dub, baby. We're going to the very, very beginning of the year, January 1st.
Ooh,
Whoa.
snuck in.
Probably watched this.
We have GCW Dive for this, the main event for the Ultraviolet title, Alex Colon versus John Wayne Murdoch, the first one. It was in our matches of the year because someone put match of the year like on the list as well. So yeah, this is the one, the best out of the 3 matches. This is the one
with the arm.
Yep, the one
Yeah.
with the arm, Ryan. That's
no, thank you.
correct.
No, thank you.
Referee stoppage was included in this main event for very, very good reasons. They tried to continue the match again for a solid minute. Nah, referee stoppage again.
Is that why John Wayne Murdoch's got such little arms?
Yeah, well.
Like Jordan Pickford.
If you like grotty death matches, then this is the one for you. Lots of light tubes, lots of barbed wire,
Lots of blood.
lots of blood, especially at the very end of the match where the referee decides, no, let's not do this. Actually, let's do it for another minute. No, it's too much.
Was this stopped because bleeding?
Yes, it was genuinely stopped because bleeding, because
It was
Alex Colon got a big, massive wooden slab with fucking roofing fucking plates on it, and just went bang, full force, bang, full force, bang, full force into the arm, and wondered why it's just profusely bleeding.
What
now.
did he do? Just hit like a fucking artery or something?
I mean, if you've seen a roofing plate, they're like spikes, like
Gusset plate, that's
gusset
Oh, a
plate.
gossip. Oh, fucking hell.
Yeah, it was nasty, and it was great to watch.
Here's the
but-
blood hunter.
Yeah.
There he is. I've got 2
so-
t-shirts that prove it.
Yeah. So if you like dirty, disgusting, grotty spots like that, then that's a match for you. It's a very, very good death match beforehand as well.
Yeah.
So
Until the referee gets all indecisive.
yeah, starts judging a bit wrong at the end. We got 2 matches for the price of 1.
Nice. Right, so before we move on to top 3, is Ryan, could I ask you a specific request? Could you give me a bussy match?
Yeah, I actually was going to give one.
Because before you do that, I've just seen a tweet. The American Dialect Society has listed the suffix "ussy" as the word of the year for 2022.
Hey!
Well, let me go and find a decent bussy match then. I'm genuinely on Cage Match for all GCW shows, going through the cards for each show and finding what I like.
Well, you see,
And what I can remember. Let's see.
ain't very many.
I did actually have one more. Is it way back here?
Got filibuster here. Come on.
Yeah.
It's Bussy versus the Briscoes.
Oh,
Okay.
that's a clash of styles, isn't it?
Fucking hell, yeah.
Can't remember what show it was on though, but it was a really good match. I remember it being a good match, I think.
Thank
You remember it, I think. Were you high?
Probably. It was there a minute ago. I did have it.
That's right. We can circle back round to you, mate, if you remember it.
One that nearly got into my my honourable mentions, actually, just to kind of filibuster for Ryan while he's looking, was the GCW War Games tag team gauntlet match, which had Bussy in it. Because
nice.
Effie was a fucking mess after.
Is that the one? I've seen a picture of that. That one, Effie's just bleeding from everywhere.
Yes. He went through barbed wire, he went through glass. Yeah. It also involved John Wayne
well.
trying to murder fucking Sikoa.
9th of April 2022 GCW Tag Team title match. Bussy defeat the Briscoes to win the titles.
That's the one.
There you go. I'll do your job for you, Ryan. Well done.
Yeah.
Is that Jay Briscoe finally repenting for like his homophobic comments from like 5 or 10 years ago?
He repented ages ago.
But this is the final step, which is doing the job to Effie.
I have that match because he won, and yeah, up the gays. Fuck the Briscoes.
Up the gays.
Whoa.
Cool. So next,
we're into the top 3 now. So my number 3, it's a match that someone's already mentioned. This is Jamie Hayter versus Hikaru Shida. I think this is the best.
Oh.
Have you got a higher? No, you had it low, didn't you?
No, I said let's go.
Oh, right.
Oh.
I thought you went,
ooh.
I thought you were stopping.
He cut on let's.
This is, I think this is the best women's match in AEW history.
Yeah, 100%.
So everything I said about Tony Storm and Jamie Hayter, just that, but with Shida and harder.
Yeah,
basically.
Nice. I haven't seen it, so I can't comment.
And without as much fuckery, and like the last 5 minutes is just Shida trying to basically knee Jamie Hayter into submission, and Jamie Hayter trying to clothesline Shida into like it's like you know, like that Logan Paul with Roman Reigns thing. It's like knee versus clothesline. It's like it's incredible.
It was really good in the sense, like that last 5 minutes in particular, in the sense that they were both essentially just going for their finisher the entire match when they thought they had it in the bag, and then neither woman did it. I think at one point, didn't Hayter just like hit Shida with not like a ripcord clothesline, just a clothesline, and Shida kicked out a 1, and then it was like, oh god, they're gonna start killing each other now, and they did. Yeah, this was really stiff. It was fucking awesome. Really, really fun match.
Yeah, nice. It was exceptional. Really, really, really good.
Yeah.
Right, Jake,
go and watch it. The only person who might have this on the list is Aaron, but I don't think he will, but he'll probably want to input into it. I've got El Desperado versus Jun Kasai from Takataichi Despi Mania on September the 12th in a death match.
I've seen when the match actually happened, I've seen like a couple of clips of it, but I need to go watch the full match. But yeah, they
only put it on New Japan World not that long ago, because
yeah.
I've been trying to. It was one of those matches that I was basically waiting to go on New Japan World, and I was waiting, and it was like, fuck's sake, when are they putting it up? This was exceptional. So the story got also just like a kind of sidebar. I don't speak Japanese. They only have Japanese commentary on this. So I was kind of like, the fact that I could follow along the story of this match with a language barrier shows how good it is. The whole thing was that El Desperado wanted to kind of prove that he can do like any style of wrestling. So he called out one of the best death match wrestlers on the planet in the Crazy Monkey King, Jun Kasai, and proceeded to get murdered for like a great deal of this match. Like Kasai rips Despy's mask open within like the first like 2 minutes of the match.
Yeah.
He's got Despy busted out, like bleeding from his back from throwing to a barbed wire board, bleeding from his head. And every time like he thinks, all right, match's over. Despy kicks out. The worst spot in this match for me, as far as like grottiest, was Jun Kasai hit a destroyer off the top rope onto a board of forks.
Fuck off.
And Despy kicked out at 1. So then Jun Kasai responded by sticking a fork into his own head and just walking around. There was knife boards, there was barbed wire, there was glass. That was fucking brutal. El Desperado like shown more than anything he could hold his own in this match. One of the best death matches I've ever seen, and I think I ever will see, because the whole like kind of overarching story of El Desperado trying to like prove I can do this style just because I'm an amazing technical wrestler, an amazing luchador, doesn't mean I can't do deathmatch too.
Yeah.
And it was, go and watch it. If you don't like death matches, don't, because you'll fucking hate it. But even if you just enjoy like the occasional one, this will blow you away, because it does tell a really compelling story.
Sweet.
Awesome. Troy, then you're number 3.
Mine snuck in on the 29th of December.
Snuck in, mate. No, that was many years ago, mate.
Jay, you were saying it's your entry there was probably the best death match you've seen, or one of them at least. This is, I think, probably the best women's match I've seen. It's from Stardom, from Dream Queendom. It was Gilia versus Shuri. It was probably the stiffest match I've seen this year, and there were some fucking stiff matches this year. I've just never seen anyone want to beat the piss out of someone so much, like both of them, and just taking it in turns to try and drop each other on their head as hard and as much as they can. Like every forearm, every slap, every fucking kick, like just beating the piss out of each other. There was some fucking horrible spots. Like a really nasty suplex from the apron to the chairs outside, where neither woman looked like they landed nicely. There was a dirty pile driver on one of the tables on the edge of the ring. There was a moment where Shuri just headbutted Gilia off the top turnbuckle, and she just drops to the floor, gets straight back up and just, nah, fuck you, picks her up, drops her on her head, kicks out at 1, doesn't give a shit. It was just brutal, like super, super stiff. Like there's a bit where they're caught up on the ropes. They're kind of both draped over the top and they're facing each other underneath the bottom rope, and just taking it in turns to just slap each other in the face whilst hanging upside down, just screaming at each other. It's easily the best women's match I've seen. And I only saw this off the back of some of the recommendations that people put in on the Discord the other day. I really struggled to find somewhere to watch this as well, but I'm glad I persevered and found it, because it is so, so, so good.
Fair. Yeah. I'll definitely check that out.
I've got a list of like wrestlers I want to watch more of this year, and Julie is definitely in that list.
Yeah.
From what I've seen of her, she's fucking awesome. Basically just like a female Minoru Suzuki, but more flashy.
Yeah.
She's like the devil of Stardom, and I like that. So yeah, I'll definitely be checking that one out. Probably the made my match if I could have found someone to watch it.
Yeah, I think my neighbours probably wondered what the fuck I was watching yesterday, because I was shouting a fair whack through that match at some real rough spots, and it was quite warm in here, so I had the window open, and I've got a couple of quite religious neighbours, and so yeah, I'm going to be repenting now next time I see them.
Fair. Aaron, then you're number 3.
What was that? Oh, I've got an itchy arse. There's somebody trying to get in my forbidden door.
Fucking hell.
The forbidden door.
Can't believe you've done this.
It's the match of the show. For me, it's the AEW's match of the year.
The one where Asmo was grabbing Sting's nipples.
Yeah, that was exactly the one.
Cool. Glad we're on the same page.
For the IWGP US title, Will Ospreay versus Orange Cassidy.
Before we get into the match, can we just say who anyone here have Sting knows as a titty twister on the 2022? This match was sort of just thrown together the week prior because Orange needed something to do and Will was in AEW at this point for a bit, so they went, fuck it, let's just clash of fucking styles of wrestling, let's go for it. And it made out to be, for me, match of the year for AEW. It was fantastic. Go on, Troy.
I was just going to say, like, I've seen this and it was fucking superb. And I was always a fan of Orange Cassidy before. I know people are a bit kind of Marmite on him, but I think this was the match for a lot of people that were kind of naysayers or didn't get him or didn't like his style or didn't think that he was any good. People suddenly had their eyes opened up to just how good he is.
Like
There's a reason why.
The thing with Orange, though, yes, you love him or you hate him, but you need the other wrestler to interact with him, to play the gimmick with him. You can't just do it on his own is the issue. But it worked perfectly in this match for me. Fast-paced action, lots happening. I've said this for about 3 matches now, like the same thing. Like the matches I like are fast-paced, no stopping, no slowing down, crack on. It's fucking great.
Crack on.
Aye.
Yep, smart. I mean, if anyone had any doubt that Orange Cassidy is one of the best wrestlers in the world, and then the fact that he goes beat for beat with Ospreay in this match is all you need to know, basically.
Yeah, I like the fact with this that like Twitter had a big old cry about it, like, oh, you've got all these people in AEW, why are you putting with Orange Cassidy? Orange Cassidy was like, all right, I'll
hold my beer.
I'll show
hold my orange juice.
And he did. He's very good. There's a reason why I nominated Orange Cassidy as wrestler, like one of my picks for wrestler of the year, because he's had such a fucking good year.
That was number 3.
Awesome. Ryan, have you got anything?
I do. From the 16th of September in Liverpool, I've got Joey Janela versus Nick Wayne. Ooh. I think it was my favorite match of the whole weekend, if I'm honest. I remember putting some videos on my Snapchat, and I had people message me going, "Why or how are they not dead?" there was a spot where Nick Wayne was on the apron, and Joey came off, but Nick moved, landed right on the apron. Joey did, right in the barrier where we were standing, and then the finish was Joey threw Nick through a door in the corner where we were standing, and then there was like a pile driver of some sort. And people were asking me how Nick Wayne's neck wasn't broke.
Is that the one where Nick Wayne jumped off the balcony and fucked his ankle up?
And like landed on me.
Darren Spear all over it.
Yes.
Landed on me, yes. If I was staggering,
so what you're saying is you're the one who injured Nick Wayne's ankle. Yeah, that match was excellent. Was that also? That's not the one. That's the one with Jerry came out to come on Eileen, was it? Because that was fucking incredible.
Nah, it was Gene.
Yeah.
Gene.
Joey Janela, for someone who like had not really impressed that much in AW and then had a bit of a sort of turgid start to the year in GCW, he was on fire that weekend.
Yeah.
Awesome. Good, really good pick, Ryan. I love that. Thanks for reminding me of that match. Right, onto the set. Number 2s. Not like that. But our second best match of the year. For me, I've gone for Anarchy in the Arena.
Okay.
Anyone else? No.
Someone did.
Someone had it down lower.
I had a 4th.
couple of really, I mean, I don't want to go like obviously because I'm not going to spot for spot. A couple of things. I mean, this match was just bedlam. It was just hilarious bedlam. Like everything about it, from the Mox's music looping like 3 times until Jericho pulled the actual cable out of the of the audio system. There's a spot where Moxley like picks up a cooler, opens it to make sure it's heavy enough, and then just lashes it at Jericho's face. It was excellent. It sort of took the format of Stadium Stampede, but then made it work in like a live crowd setting, which I thought was a very clever. Like even the way they set it up, Moxley was like, "Yeah, we're not going to do that fucking Stadium Stampede bullshit, because that's gone now." And Jericho was like, "All right, we'll do this bullshit instead." And I was like, "Okay, yeah, that's perfect." And then obviously you have the enduring visual of Eddie Kingston just shuffling down the ramp like a fucking serial killer from a horror movie.
The can of petrol.
Yeah, and then dousing
covered in
Danielson.
blood and mustard.
Yeah. Because he presumably at this point he's killed someone. Matt Menard's just dead because you don't. I think it's Jeff Parker. You just don't see after him and Eddie Kingston go on the lift. Like you just assume he's dead.
Yeah.
Like, and so yeah, he comes out and he just douses Jericho because he hates Jericho so much. He douses Jericho and he doesn't care about Daniels. He douses him in petrol as well. He's like, "I'll burn you both." And like you just happen to be there. It's fine. And yeah, it's great. And then that was the match that the finish went so hard that it legitimately put Danielson out for like 2 months and made him miss a match with Zack Sabre Jr. So
fucking hell.
Yeah.
One day.
So that kind of sucked, but then we got Claudio to do it instead, so it all worked out in the end. But yeah, it was really good fun. Yeah, I just fucking loved it. It was peak nonsense. I love it when AEW leans into the bullshit a little bit. They don't do it all the time, but when they do, they tend to do it really well. Jay, anything to add?
My favorite part of watching this match on a Zoom call was Aaron, like about 5 minutes in, going, "I don't remember having any Kunzel today." Because we were all like sat there like slack-jawed, like what the fuck is going on?
And even Justin Roberts started with just like, yeah, shit's gonna hit the fan.
Yeah, I loved the music going through. I loved the bit when Mox hit Jericho with the jib as well.
Oh yeah,
swung the camera around.
Yeah.
That was fucking brilliant.
Well, that's a throwback because Jericho does that bit, doesn't he, where he gets the camera and
gets the camera and just
yeah.
And also, if I remember correctly, this was the first time Moxley and Jericho had like kind of touched since Mox took the belt off Jericho.
Yeah.
So again, it had that added kind of like, oh, this actually feels special because we haven't seen these two do it for a while. Yeah, it was just as we said about like the Sami Zayn and Johnny Knoxville match. Sometimes silly bollocks is just the best stuff, and this was just absolute chaos.
I was just about to say, was this AEW's like Zayn and Knoxville match? Like it feels very much like it was. There wasn't anything else that kind of peaked it in terms of silliness.
There was a best friends match the other week, I would say, actually, where like Danhausen was doing the whole pretending to be like hitting the dick. And when Bryce Remsburg ejected Penelope Ford, he gets up and like taps her on the back and like, good job.
Just quickly, they don't see Danhausen on Dark this week. He turned up in like the Moo and the fat guy hat from the Simpsons.
Yeah, I've seen the photo.
It was incredible.
Yeah, it was just silly bollocks. I loved it.
Nice. You're number 2, Jay, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, and I think somebody's got this as number 1. It was FTR versus the Briscoes 1 from Ring of Honor, Supercard of Honor.
Yep.
I also have it at number 2.
Okay. Well, we'll all talk about it when Tasty's talking about it number 1.
Yeah. So
then it's
Ryan, isn't it? Or Aaron?
Well,
Aaron.
It depends what Ryan's got here, because I'm gonna go to GCW.
My top 2 are also GCW, but go ahead.
Backyard Wrestling, I've got. Yes, I know, boys, it's not number 1. I'm sorry. As Joey versus Donnie /
that's my number
Kung Fu
1.
Janela. I'm sorry,
that's
boys.
Right, number 1, double weight.
We'll have to talk about it at the end. What a shame.
Okay, fine. I had a question.
Yes.
What is a Kung Fu Janela?
Joey Janela's dog killing brother.
Cousin.
You'll find
sorry.
You'll find out.
Is it actually
Michael Vick?
Okay. I'll ask you more about it when you talk about it. Fucking hell.
Okay, Ryan, have you got number 2 for us, mate?
I do have a number 2. If Aaron can speak about it, though, because I don't remember much, but I know he does. Minoru Suzuki versus Effie at
Oh!
Spring Break Part 2.
Effie kissed Minoru Suzuki on the lips. That is a peak
believe
moment
we
of
didn't know about that.
2022.
So, again, we'll hopefully have it for you in the next week or so. But Effie tells a really good anecdote about this match when we interview him.
Does he?
Yeah, remember that he gets asked about kissing, and he says like Minoru Suzuki. That's one of the things Suzuki wanted to do was have Effie kiss him.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man. Well,
He says basically you go to like a show and Suzuki's just out in the smoking area, just chain smoking because he's a fucking mad lad. And yeah, he doesn't speak a lot of English, but one of the things he said is like, "Me, you kiss." And it was like, oh, and Effie's like, "Yep, okay."
So
take that one off the bucket list.
this is from again Spring Break, where the same show the clusterfuck was on.
Yeah, it was a massive format.
Like literally the match before it is it's less than 10 minutes long. This match, but
9 minutes 10.
Yeah, the fact that fucking Effie kissed Murder Grandad on the lips, not even a peck, a full.
And this was like 90 minutes or like less after he like dismantled Rhett Titus and won the Ring of Honor TV title. He got in a taxi, went straight to that from that show to that show, and then did that match.
Oh, honestly, that's one of the highlights of 2022.
I think that's a highlight gem like in all of wrestling ever. Like that ain't gonna happen again, is it?
I love when they were brawling on the outside and like Suzuki like chopped Effie and Effie was like, "Here we are, you little bitch!"
Yeah. The Murder Grandad.
Yeah.
Also, I think it was fan made, but the poster for this match, which was just Minoru with like Effie on a lead, was incredible.
Honestly, it's the easiest 9 minutes 10 seconds to watch your life.
Yeah.
It just flies by. It's just Effie being Effie and Suzuki just being Murder Grandad.
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah.
Go watch it.
Sweet. Is that everyone's number 2? Are we down to the last one?
I think we're down to number 1.
Number Wang. Right.
That's number 1. Right. So yeah, I mean, obviously we know which mine is. I went back and forth on this a lot because I didn't want to try and put more than one match from each from a certain feud on. I didn't want to like crowd out the list with too many of.
You mean you didn't want to make 1, 2, and 3 FTR against the Briscoes?
I went for one. It's a bit of a hipster pick because it was the original one. But I just felt this was like the build up. This match was a bit more special. It was for the first time. Top guys v Den Boys.
Yeah.
Like arguably 2 of the best, like pure tag teams of the last 10 years. In the style of they just twat each other dead hard, and that's what these guys do.
The term dream match gets used a hell of a lot, but this absolutely fucking was.
Yeah, this was unbelievable. Yeah, I mean the other matches had great bits in them, particularly the bit where, in match 3 where Cash throws Dax a chair into the ring and just screams "fucking murder him." Which was incredible, and that had the double dog collar spot, which again I don't think both teams get enough credit in the third match for having 2 dog collars on the go at once and it never tripping the match up in terms of logistics and like the chains never getting in the way. It was phenomenal. But this match had like FTR sort of worked a bit sort of heely. They were out on the outside putting the guys through tables and stuff. FTR were like really going hard, and it ended with FTR winning the belts as well, which I thought was a really cool moment. It didn't like the second match didn't quite have that moment because nothing changed, and in the third match the Briscoes won them back. So I think this one had the best finish in that it was FTR's big victory. But yeah, this match was fucking phenomenal. This match just had that buzz that you only get every now and then. Like Bryan Danielson versus Kenny Omega had it. When you get these 2 guys who you've thought about this match for so long, and then all of a sudden here it is, and they just stand there for the first 30 seconds, and the crowd just buzzes, and like the energy just crackles, and that's a rare thing in wrestling, and when it happens, it's really special.
Absolutely, it was super. I've said before, like there's been a lot of stiff matches this year as well, but like it looked like they genuinely fucking despise each other. Like there was a bit on the top. I think it was when Dax was on top of. Like on the turnbuckle, just raining down punches and stuff, and we see that in so many matches. But like, genuinely, just looked like he was absolutely leathering the Jesus out of him. Like it didn't feel like a work at all. Like the whole thing, it was just like these 4 fucking hate each other, and it was it was perfection.
Once again, as Aaron says earlier, Twitter beefs create the best matches.
Yeah.
This all started by Dax Harwood and Jay Briscoe arguing over who was the better tag team on Twitter. And then Jay Briscoe made the ball joke about Dax, and then it all just like kicked off. I might as well go into mine. Mine was FTR versus the Briscoes 3, number 1, the dog collar match. I thought it was fucking outstanding. There was so many uncomfortable spots, like Mark Briscoe just getting fucking launched to the floor. Was it a pile of chairs or was it tables?
Yeah, he went over the table and landed on a pile of chairs.
Oh,
yeah.
It was from the turnbuckle over a table that was on the floor and then onto like 20 chairs.
Yeah. The whole like Dax and Jay Briscoe fighting through the crowd with dog collars around the fucking necks, just hitting each other with the chains. As you said, the chain spot where it was like sort of like stretched out and Dax got like thrown into the chain, and Cash was just like, fuck, I fucked up. I just thought it was a more compelling story because it was, each match was like, how are these guys going to outdo the first one? And I thought the 2 out of 3 falls, even though it didn't make my list, I thought that was just as good as the others. It was just because it was a bit more slow paced and more. The 2 out of
3 falls was great, really good storytelling because the Briscoes took a really early first fall. It put a lot of danger into the match. You thought, oh fuck, FDR could just lose it like at any point. Yeah. It really put them on the back foot, and I think having FDR have to fight out from that 1-0 deficit made the match, like you said, really compelling. It told a really good story.
And the finish of Dax just killing Jay Briscoe with a fucking top rope pile driver as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's almost like it's weird because, as I said, the feud almost like Dax and Jay Briscoe hate each other, and then Cash and Mark Briscoe just like fighting people. So they just have a fight around this like fucking blood feud.
I love it. Like Dax and Jay like screaming each other in the ring, and Cash and Mark are just like, well, I guess I'll hit that guy because I'm here.
I'm here. Fuck it. Why not? If they're doing it, I'll do it.
Yeah, everyone was bleeding in this match. It was fucking violent. It was fucking grisly. It was fucking brutal. I think for me, the reason why this got over the first and second was because for being at a pay-per-view called Final Battle, it really did sort of hammer home the fact this was a Final Battle. Yeah, it was fucking awesome.
Also, shout out to they did a version of the classic FDR spot where they're both in submissions and they're trying to crawl and grab each other's hands, but they couldn't because they couldn't because they were pulling on the chains. So the chains stopped them, which was a really cool like little evolution of that spot. Yeah, it was awesome.
Nice.
Aaron, then you're number 1, mate.
Troy.
Troy, sorry.
Troy.
I thought, sorry, you're not. I thought everything just got sucked into the Briscoe verse.
I'd keep it in order because I feel like you, Jay, and Troy's number 1 are different to me and Ryan's. So
mine is
very, very different.
My number 1 was in Jay's honourable mentions.
I saw his face when I fucking said it.
My number 1 is from the 4th of June from Progress Super Strong Style Day 2. It's Cara Noir against Spike Trivet in an I Quit Loser Leaves Progress match. Everything building into this match was superb. It was basically he who speaks leaves was the tagline going into it. For those who don't know, like Cara Noir, known non-speaking character, wrestler guy, Spike Trivet, very wordy, and this was just them going at it after months and months and months of kind of one-upping each other and fucking each other over here, and getting one up at the end of a match and stuff like that. They previously had what was the one that they had at the Garage, Jay? Was it the 10th anniversary show, or it was around that week? They'd had one there, and that was quite brutal.
No, that was Cara versus Ilya.
Oh, but then didn't Spike come out at the end, like handcuffed into the ropes and just beat the piss out of him with the chair? That was it. But yeah, this match was the culmination of that. And just some mental spots. So there was one where they brought a trampoline into the ring, and Kara went to use the trampoline to dive onto Spike on like 3 tables on the outside, and Spike moves out of the way just in time, and he goes through all of them. There was a dirty thumbtack spot where Spike just like drops a load of those, dumps Kara on them, and then gets some fucking lemon juice and just spits it into his back like covered in tacks. But
he bottled them at one point as well.
Oh shit! Yeah, he bottled him.
He picked up like a bottle of wine from the bar and just bottled them.
Yeah. There was a cool bit where like Kara like went backstage, like disappeared. Spike didn't know where he was, and then Kara comes out just covered in chairs, like all of his arms just covered in chairs, stood there like pissing blood. Comes down to the ring, doesn't actually get a chance to use them at all, and Spike just basically clips the Black Swan's wings by just beating every single fucking limb with a chair. But the finish was superb. The finish was Kara is in the ring, and I think I can't remember if he's handcuffed or not. I think he might have been
handcuffed. He's handcuffed, and the refs like basically uncuffing him.
That's it. And Spike goes, right, I've got to step it up a level, goes outside, grabs Cara Noir's wife, and just threatens to batter her over the head with the chair. And before he does it, like, Cara just says, I quit, and that's it. And it was just, yeah, absolutely insanity. One thing I do remember that was absolutely hilarious, for whatever reason, Cara Noir went into like proper street fight mode and just grabbed a pair of jeans from someone in the audience and was just walking around in a pair of jeans instead of his black tights for good reason. But yeah, it was so good. Everything in the match, all the build up to the match, the finish was just, as soon as that bell went and he said it, there was just absolute stunned silence. Like I've never seen anything like it.
It was a very good match. Very,
Awesome.
very good.
Yeah. Okay, then we'll move on to the nonsense portion of the for the rest of the proceedings. Talk about the serious matches. Now you guys get to close the whole thing off with whatever garbage wrestling you've chosen.
Whoa!
Oh, come on.
What?
I mean that is a term of endearment, by the way.
Aye.
Troy's got the horn, not like that, but you know.
I will say my number one first because Ryan's already mentioned it. It's from GCW. It's the Tournament of Survival 7 final.
Yeah.
So this puts it over the edge because after watching the whole tournament in one sitting, because it was on the same night, like I think it was just me and Ryan watching this together. We were both fully invested. Like, we heard Journey separate ways about 3 times during this show, and every time the crowd got pumped, I got pumped, Ryan got pumped. Not like that.
I was going to say, not like that.
Oh God!
So the fact that we saw the ascension of Ren Yamashita as well. We've seen her like in 2 matches, which were fantastic. Like a Japanese, like now I know her as a deathmatch wrestler. I don't know if she was before or after, but she is now. I got to see Drew Parker the whole night, go to the final. And then the underdog who's never won the tournament before, fucking 40-odd-year-old Matt Tremont, fucking in the final. Let's go. Yeah, Drew Parker, Matt Tremont in the final. Like, everyone was buzzing for Tremont to win this. And throughout the whole night, the crowd just got louder and louder and louder. The match itself was fantastic. Spots galore. Drew Parker was a heel in the final by the end of this show because everyone was invested in Matt Tremont to win in it. So, yeah, if you haven't, not just that match, but go watch the whole show for the whole build-up of it. It's fantastic.
Nice.
Awesome, yeah.
And Ryan,
and the best match of 2022 is Kung Fu Janela versus Joey Janela in a
backyard wrestling.
From the show of the year.
My number
show of the year. So Troy, you actually haven't seen this show or this match, have you?
No,
the rest of them have.
I don't think Troy could sit through the whole show.
I'll be honest, I didn't need to. It wasn't high on my priority list.
I think Troy should sit through the whole show.
I would like to watch this match with Troy.
We'll do a watch along.
A 2.5 hour watch along.
Fucking
me and Big Tasty watched it the other day together.
On Boxing Day.
On Boxing Day. What were your thoughts about it, Tasty?
Yeah.
I mean, one of the matches got into your top 10.
It wasn't my. No, the show was great. This wasn't my pick of all the matches on the show. It was fun. Joey Janela made it by just repeatedly screaming, "He killed dogs."
Yeah.
He killed my uncle's dog.
He killed my uncle's dog. He killed.
dog killer.
He legitimately killed
He
the
makes
dog.
Michael Vick look okay.
It was
Wow.
just
All these things were said, Troy,
Yeah.
during this match.
At one point, Joey Janela steals a small toy car off a child.
Whoa,
gets in it.
whoa,
It's pink.
whoa. Commentary state that it's a full-size Hummer in the ring, I'll have you know.
Steals a child's riding car and takes it into the ring and rides
While
it
the
into-
child's like crying her eyes out. as well.
Yeah.
This sounds fucking terrible. I
Uh,
need to
So
watch it.
the match,
Incredible.
Begin with,
the
Joey
match
Jan-
begins. Yeah, the match begins and Joey Janela's in the pool. He's
In
not
the
even ready
pool.
to wrestle.
Joey
What?
Janela's entrance starts off with him sitting in the pool going, what? I'm
Drinking a
next.
White Claw.
I'm next. Fuck.
Followed by Party in the USA for about
What?
15 minutes.
Yeah.
They're setting off like purposefully shitty pyro while he's getting changed just in the middle of a field into his wrestling gear.
It's so good. It's so shit. It's fucking fantastic.
And
I
then
must admit
there's-
that the whole show really nails the sort of like, oh, this
Yeah.
is so bad it's good vibe.
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
wrestling,
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
really well.
Is it like
I love-
what's the one that Gallows and Anderson did over lockdown?
Talking
It's-
shop.
I
It's
said-
like
I-
talking
I-
shop mania with less dick jokes.
And
Right.
more money, a little
Cool.
bit more money.
Cool.
Yeah.
Another thing we have to remember, like it's through various times during the show, Nick Gage, who's on commentary, is just getting progressively higher. Like,
Yeah.
he's just- at one point,
Yeah.
he just leaves commentary to go and score some weed, and like,
He's fucked by the end of it. Like,
He literally like
Dark
keeps
Sheik
going,
has to take
I got
control.
another one for you, and just like a different commentator comes on, and Nick Gage just goes off and smokes a blunt.
Oh,
by
genuinely.
the time this match rolls around, he is so stoned he can only
Yeah.
say like 2 words at a
He,
time.
he doesn't even commentate on it. He just gets Dark Sheik to do it
Dark
for him.
Sheik does
Yeah.
it instead.
Dark Sheik is fantastic on commentary and that as
She
well.
is actually, yeah. I agree with that.
She like adds so much to it because she's just fucking hilarious.
Oh,
Um, there's
if you
also
like
that-
this, if you like the song "Party in the USA" by Miley Cyrus, this is a match for you.
I didn't
I-
know I did until I watched this match twice. Oh no, 3 times I watched this match. This
I've
year.
watched this match
Um,
4 times now, I think.
Yeah, you found out I was watching it. I went, wait there, I want to watch it.
I don't know what to-
Oh, shout out well to another really fun spot when Joey picks up his cousin in like a vertical suplex, just walks around
Oh,
for like
just
a minute and a
walks
half.
It's
for
like
a solid-
30
walks
meters in a
along the
straight
fucking-
line. Yeah,
Yeah, this is like literally Troy on like the edge of a cornfield.
yeah.
It's
He's
genuinely like
It's-
a estate like that owns a farm.
Yeah, there's a
It's like on a
big house.
farm, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And there's a big backyard.
Fucking hilariously good.
Before you guys get any more excited, should we wrap it up there?
Yes, I think
I have came
I want to talk
twice.
more about this match.
Wait there. I feel like we should end this by all singing "Party in the USA."
no, but not happening. We'll get demonetized.
Play my song.
Get down tonight.
Yeah, so there you
In
have
my
it.
head, like yeah.
The-
Moving my hips, like
The
yeah.
official Untitled Wrestling Podcast match of the year is Janela versus Janela from GCW Backyard Wrestling.
Yeah.
The show of the year. You heard it's official. Go and watch it. It's on Fight Plus. I think this year,
I deliberately didn't put it in my list because I knew we'd be talking about it at the end.
I think Jay, you said this year you want to watch some of the older ones through with Aaron and like a watch along because we watched
me-
some
me
business.
and
There's
Aaron
some,
are-
there's some wild shit on some of the earlier ones, mate. Trust me.
Oh, we watched the main event of Backyard Wrestling 2, and it ended with like them literally having to stop the show because people were calling the police.
Yeah. It's fucking backyard wrestling is something else. It's fantastic,
good.
man.
So yeah, there we go. Fuck the Briscoes and FTR. It's all about Joey Janela getting dressed to Miley Cyrus. That's what we all want.
Yeah. And calling his cousin a dog killer.
Can I also
Yeah.
just say this year started off with me not liking Joey Janela and ended with him being in my top matches.
Top match.
If that's not incredible, then what is? If that's not the power of professional wrestling, then what is? Quite frankly.
The power of silly bollocks in professional wrestling.
So that's going to wrap it up for us. That's 2022 in the books. Good year for wrestling, I think, all in all. Some mad
Yeah.
shit across the board. Yeah. And yeah, we'll see you all again real soon. We'll see you at the end of next year when we do this again. Quickly before we go, one bold prediction per person for 2023.
Oh shit! Yeah. Fuck.
Just top of your head. First that comes to your head. Go.
Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns
No,
at WrestleMania.
Let's go! Let's go!
I'm going to say Vince McMahon reinstates himself as executive chairman of WWE. Oh, wait, no, that's already happened. I'm going to say Will Ospreay beats Kenny Omega in AEW.
Oh, give it to me. Oh, yes, please, Daddy.
Is that after his face grows back after getting it like caving in?
After he irons the boot marks out of his face
Aye,
from their previous match.
Give me Omega and Ospreay again any day of the week. Do it, cowards.
I think it'll main event Finn myself. Mine is that Nick Wayne will dethrone Darby Allin for the TNT title in his debut in AEW.
Fucking, I don't know. Cody Rhodes, WWE champion, because I love Cody so much. Yeah.
Is that why you're like kind of like that to hide the neck tattoo you've got?
Cool. Right. That'll wrap things up. Thanks for watching. See you next year. Bye.
It's a party in the USA.
What?